So who is getting chamatkar? Seeing Rupa dekhi apanara, Krishna rahela chamatkar. Krishna himself is becoming astonished by seeing his own beauty. Not to speak of others. Aswadite mane uthe kama. So he wants to see who is this beautiful person. So there is pastime in Dwarka when he sees Swa Saubhagya Yad. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appeared. There is one reason. What is in me? Second reason, confidential reason is what is in me that attracts Radharani. So a sugar cannot know itself how sweet it is. So Lord has to come to see them. So the chamatkar is the for him also. स्वसौभाग्य आरा नाम सौंदर्यादि गुणग्राम हे रूप नित्य तार राम. Please translate.
Form of Krishna. Wonderful form of Krishna in his personal feature is so great that in fact even Krishna tastes his own association. Indeed, Krishna becomes very eager to taste it. Total beauty, knowledge, wealth, strength, fame, and renunciation are the six opulences of Krishna. He is eternally situated in this opulence.
Yeah. So what is the second part? All the opulences are full in Krishna. All others don't have full opulences. All this beauty, wealth, strength, fame, etc. From what it is made up of? Yoga Maya Chit Shakti Vishuddha Sattva Pariniti Tara Shakti Loke Dekhaiti. Please read translation.
The transcendental form of Krishna is shown to the world by Lord Krishna's internal spiritual energy, which is the transformation of pure goodness. This jewel-like form is the most confidential treasure of the devotees. This form is manifested from Krishna's eternal pastime.
Yeah. So please hear, Samarpan, please hear the sweetness of Krishna. He Rupa Eka Kana, Dubaya Sab Tribhuvan. One drop of this form can inundate the entire three worlds. Sarva Prani Kare Akarsh. Beginning with Prani, then even Krishna, even Narayana, like that. So that is the speciality of Krishna's form. So that's what is told in this verse. So the speciality of this is what? Nara Leela. The human form of Krishna is the supreme form of Krishna. So not Narayan, not any other incarnation. Why? Because all these things. Gopa, Vaibhava, Karana, Kishore. Nara Leela hai Anurup. Read this.
Lord Krishna has many pastimes, of which his pastimes as a human being are the best. His form as a human being is the supreme transcendental form. In this form, he is a cowherd boy. He carries a flute in his hand, and his youth is new. He is also an expert dancer. All this is just suitable for his pastimes as a human being.
Yeah. So this is just one verse of Uddhava. He has spoken this way. It is explained. We just read a few, just sang few stanzas which are explaining this one verse one. There is a lot in these verses. So instead of singing any song, anyway, so let us begin with Mangalacharana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Prabrajantramanapeeta apeta krityam Dvaipayano virahaka ajuhava Utreti tanmayataya taragobhimeta Tam sarva bhutaridayam manimanatosmi Yasyanubhavamakilashruti saramekam Adhyatma deepa atiti Rushatantamondham Samsarina karunaya Purana Guhyam Tam Vyasa Sunu Pipayami Gurum Munina नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवा भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I was in two minds actually. There is one wonderful discussion which is going on by this Venugopal Prabhu, and he is drowning us in a pure Krishna Katha. Bhakti Vedanta class. Just it got over, and somehow we are not able to understand how time is going. None of it. So brilliantly he is explaining actually. But I was just thinking, this subject matter what we are discussing also is very nice. And I was wondering that can it be postponed? And it would be nice if you can also attend that. So, however, I don't know whatever is all of your desire. What is I don't know. I have two minds because the discussion what we are having also is very nice. And there is no further time. Friday I am leaving. Further we can't adjust anything. So, should we continue here or you would like to join there? Here. That is the problem in the material world. But that is the hope. But I would request, so purely Prabhuji speaks actually. Just is explaining the purport of PBT purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti purport. Pure amazing Krishna Lila. Krishna is visiting Bahulashva and Shutadev. That's what is going on from yesterday, today, 6 hours till now. That chapter only going on. And so much discussion and so much amazing. This so wonderful. So, as usual, we do. So, first is reflection on glory of Bhagavatam. So, this very verse is the greatest glory of Bhagavatam, which we are going to discuss today. Yanmartalilau paikam swayoga maya balam darshayata grihita vismapanam swasya cha saubhagadhe param param bhushanam bhushanam. Read the translation.
The Lord filled the mortal world by his eternal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form. It is this suitable for his pastime. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including Lord himself in his form as Lord of Vaibhava. Thus, his Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments.
Oh, what I am saying is different. Oh, okay. CC translation is different. Yeah, many times it is there. So I'll read this also. To exhibit the strength of his own spiritual potency. Lord Krishna manifested a form just suitable for his pastimes in the material world. This form was wonderful even for him and was the supreme abode of all wealth and good fortune. Its limbs were so beautiful that they increased the beauty of the ornaments worn on different parts of his body. So this is Prabhupada's relish. He is translating there. Translating. He did not do it. I have translated. Every night he is doing this. And that is his relish. That is his ecstasy. The whole night. As I quoted, that many of us want to do what Prabhupada did during the day. But how many of us want to do what Prabhupada did in the night? So he is experiencing all different translation. This is little different. Context is different. Translation is different. Purport is different. So this is the greatest glory of Bhagavatam because this verse is telling the supremacy of Krishna's beauty. So Bhagavad, as we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's greatest weapon is what? His beauty. Krishna also like it. So that is the glory of Bhagavatam, where this beauty is repetitively indicated as Ashraya Tattva. No other Purana speaks. That is the glory of Bhagavatam, and that is the glory of section which we are discussing now. Yes, so with that reflection, now over to you. Some quick reflections from yesterday. Anyone from online, offline? So Abhay going to is in voice, is it? Huh? No, that is to be.
Because I am traveling actually. Travel.
Oh, you are traveling. Okay. Yes. Yes. So, any reflections from yesterday? Something which you remember, online, offline? Yes, you know. Actually, this is to remind me, did I speak rightly?
Actually,
So it has no agenda, it has no sequence. Something which touched you in case it touched, that's all.
that's what this because it was almost like daily, but that hurt my heart very much.
Ah, that's what, don't worry about it.
Sadhu Sangh, you said, is influenced in the association of the sadhus.
Yes, yes,
That's what came out in that point. That is Sadhu Sangh.
yes.
is
So Prabhupada says that,
popular with this.
right?
And Bhakti Gata Beach.
Is what? What is that? Bhakti Lata?
That ruchi, taste.
Taste for?
Taste for devotion service.
Taste for bhajan, devotion. Bhajaneshu spruha is the seed which they can give. Who can give this seed? Only pure devotees. And when we say pure devotees, we are not generous enough. As Prabhupada, when Prabhupada said, how many pure devotees are there? So he said, how many devotees are there in this? Yes, everyone is potentially pure devotee. But here it is, when Prabhupada is saying influenced by pure devotee are which devotee? The perfected pure devotee. Sadhya bhakti. Attained love of God. They have the capacity to influence the bhajana issues. So that's what Prabhupada wrote there. Right? Just to this yesterday only I wanted to show. The same thing is written where it's like infection. You understand? You get infected. So same thing where Prabhupada writes that. Anyone remembers that? Pure devotion is as infectious as
He writes in the
disease.
another section. That Mujib Mahaprasad used to take with the
Yeah, exactly. That was as infectious as disease. Somewhere it is there. Anyway, so what I wanted to say is that we have to get infected. Every time we associate with someone, we are getting infected by someone. So we have to choose our infection. So because the seeds come through that. And you get the infection from whom you got infection, that seed you will get. So there are genetically modified seeds also. And there are original seed. And both will produce fruit. So Mishra Bhakti and so many other types of seeds one can get by so many other associations. So we have to be careful. So when it is possible, only when we are infected and strongly infected, then we will able to see the other seeds. Otherwise, when other seed appears nice, then the original seed appears to be genetic. So that's why it's very important to hear from pure devotees. And time and again, Prabhupada writes in his purport. Time and again, he writes, making some sound. No, it's more. So tolerate little bit. Anyway, you're tolerating me, so that is not so much. In spite of having such wonderful nectar behind this door, behind this wall. So, so that infection is very necessary. So, and that was Narada. Narada boy got that infected. Even child got infected. Can you imagine? The point means what we have to do? Just go close. That's what I was telling. Go close means not to inconvenience, but get infected. Get infected by that purity of their practice. Once we get infected, then no one can do anything. Other things won't work. You know, once you get the disease, yes, it's, so that is one thing you remember. Any other point? 1.25. 1.25 it is there. Huh? Yeah. Where Prabhupada says that. It begins with that. Pure devotion is as much infectious in a good sense as an infectious disease. This is the influence. So we want to be influenced by pure devotion. And after influencing, then we want their association on. Because that's the influence. So there are so many pastimes of Srila Prabhupada that people got so much attracted. I pray for that kind of attraction. You know? So disciples of Prabhupada, Jananiwas Prabhupada was worshipping deity and Prabhupada is leaving the altar, leaving the Mayapur Dham. So he's a pujari, but he felt that what I should do? Prabhupada is leaving. I am doing deity worship. If I give up, it will be offense. But my mind is attracted. So actually he gives up and goes to see Prabhupada. And he gets a glance of Prabhupada. But you didn't do wrong. He is feeling that I did offense to the deity. But he kind of runs. I don't remember the full time. He only narrates that. So that kind of infection they got actually. I just pray for that kind of attraction they had for Srila Prabhupada. So such pure devotees. Then there is nothing else. So yes, any other point from yesterday? Anyone else want to share? Krishna Kirtan Pro is where, Pro? Where are you in this planet? Where is first party?
No, bro. I came to Odisha.
Huh?
Odisha.
Harikol, yes, Pro.
Odisha, bro.
Oh, is it home? Okay. Some online devotees can share something if they can remember something from their mind yesterday.
Prabhuji, we were discussing that how Viduruji is asking means about the Cupid. Means Pradyumna, he is addressing him as the Cupid, and but he is not exactly the Cupid. We discussed that how the demigods took shelter in means, in the pure devotees for this pastimes.
Eternal associates body, demigods also took shelter. But it was depicted as the mundane Cupid only. Externally, people know that he is Kamdev.
Yes,
What's the reason of that?
to hide the things means from
Correct.
people.
So hide the confidentiality of Krishna's pastime. He is doing that. Because Krishna likes that. When Krishna will speak to Uddhava like that in next chapter. You are Vasu, like that. You prayed. This is in front of Maitreya. So indirect. Anything else? One last.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then you said that
Yeah, oh, thank you. So we are able
Maitre.
to hear your voice instead of the Mataji's voice. Nice. Yes, Narari Thakur, please go ahead.
I installed the app. I was joining from direct browser, so now I installed that. So you were saying yesterday that Maitreya was not on a pure devotee platform, but when he heard the talk between
Yeah,
Vidura
when
and
he heard
Uddhava,
talk
devotion platform,
between, what happened?
talk between he heard talk between Maitreya, Vidura and Uddhava discussion. Then he become a pure devotee like that.
Yeah, so Siddhanta is correct. He saw Lord and Uddhava talking with each other with great affection. So Maitreya saw that. So we were discussing that point which was mentioned in the lecture. That in association
Also, you said
of devotees.
you said about that the real nectar is discussion paraspara anupathan.
Yes.
The discussion among each other. So Vidura and Uddhava, the relishing means they are having a relishing means they are relishing more when they discuss with each other.
Yes.
So about Krishna's pastimes. So that is the real nectar you are saying. Yes, that is the real nectar when we discuss about Krishna with each other.
Yeah. Yes. And that pleases Krishna very much. Right? As Krishna is present in that. So, and that gets person is pacified by that one. Like Vidura is getting pacified in association of Uddhava. So Uddhava gave him that gift, what he received.
In the trance, he wrote that association and he satisfied himself, pacified.
Yeah. Then Lord sent him back. Please, now you pacify. Yeah. So that is the power of discussion. And then Arjuna also we saw. Arjuna, Yudhishthira. Okay. Huh? Anything you want to say?
How the remembrance of the Lord is like an antiseptic method to counteract the material the effect of the material qualities. Akrura example
Yes.
of your saving, although your saving comes up,
Yeah, Prabhupada writes that on absorption in thought of Krishna, one doesn't get affected by Akrura's case. Yes, Prabhu, thank you very much. So let us go further, begin with the most important section. Right? So which no one said about that section. So what is this section and why it is important? Now we are discussing which chapter? 3.2. Remembrance of Krishna. In that first 6 verses, we discussed about the exalted position of Uddhava as revealed by Shukdev. And what all things he can say. That's what we saw. And the next section from 7 to 24 is, what is that section? Yes? Amalya, okay. What it means or what is the section about? Pastimes of Krishna remembered by Uddhava. So that is this chapter, last part also, and next chapter also. Okay, that is this chapter after 24 also is remembering pastimes.
Actually, he consoles.
So 70, 24 chapter, sorry, verses are what is they are depicting? Spotless glories of Krishna. Perfect. That is the essence of what you said. But what does that mean? Sweetness of Krishna. That one verse we saw. Yes. But what is there in the section?
Truth of
Yes. Uddhava is giving what? Philosophical conclusion to pacify Vidura. Who is disturbed by hearing about Prabhash His loving and so his loving family members are killed each other. Hearing the details, he was very disturbed. And he requested that please now bathe me in Krishna's pastime. So these two things are there. So he addressed both of them. So 7 to 24 is addressing pacification. So pacification can happen only by philosophy. So that is there everywhere in Bhagavatam. Of course, the philosophy has not bluntly spoken. Now we'll see, we can learn from Uddhava how to pacify. So even Krishna pacified the, in first canto 8th chapter, we'll see that verse. Santvaya Masa. So they spoke the Kala, how the time moves. After the whole war, all the Mataji and Pandavas went, and there Krishna pacified it. And sages pacified the relatives of dead people. So how did they do? Kala Gati. Means what? Tattva. Not Leela. Tattva is true. So that's what he is saying here. Of course, this pacification is very high level. Vidura was 35 years experiencing Krishna. You saw that, yeah? But still, because Krishna left from Dwarka, means he left this world. So his reciprocation stopped. So he was disturbed by that all. So two things. So that's why this section is important. And more importantly, this section also is as good as which verse? As told by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. As good as which verse it is, the section? So this is enough, na? Full screen not required. It's visible? Yeah. So we saw this portion, right? So please keep this in mind. Thus Bhagavatam becomes full of flavor and pleasing to the listener. When the statements of Uddhava, when we understand the opinion of Uddhava, and so many people will ask you so many things about Krishna. They are all crores of false opinions, and they can be refuted thoroughly by Uddhava's conclusions, which are given here from 7 to 24. His statement is like statement Krishna's to Bhagavan's wife. Can you imagine that much weightage Vishwanath is giving? That's why we are giving weightage to that section. Mahaprabhu is giving so much weightage to explain Sanatana Shiksha. So this is the 7th verse. So what I was thinking, actually there is so much discussion, but time is limited. So what we will do is, first we will see the overview of the section. And let us see how much we can go into each purport. So from 7 onwards, this is the overview. Right? So 7 and 8 verses. So let us recite them together. So let's start. Krishna Dyumni Nimloche Hiraneshwa Ajagarenaha Kim Nona Kushalam Pruyam Gatashrishu Griheshwaham. Yeah, read the translation. Now it's coming. So now Uddhava Uvacha.
Are you screen sharing?
Yes.
My dear,
Screen share. Screen share.
my dear Vidura,
Okay, this one if I do, then everything is shared. Right? Yeah.
Sri Uddhava said, my dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna, has set, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?
Yeah. So let us see. So this is what I told. Yeah. Please read this. First Uddhava.
First, Uddhava brings out the philosophical conclusion.
in order to pacify Vaibhava, who was overcome with grief by his own external appearance. He conveys the unfortunate condition of those afflicted by the pain of separation from Krishna.
Down.
When Krishna, like the sun, has said, "How can I speak of the welfare of us, his friends, whom you ask about, in houses swallowed by the darkness of lamentation, taking the form of a huge snake?"
Yeah. So pacification begins with understanding others' emotion and the reason behind the emotion. So first of all, he has understood that why he is having that problem. So he is now pacifying means what? He is also sharing, see, I am also so much disturbed. What to speak of myself? Whole world is in this is devoured by the snake of lamentation. So that's what is the first verse he is speaking. Right? So now he has come to complete. Now earlier he was in ecstasy, right? So now he has come to like external consciousness trying to deal with Vidura. So first, by his own external appearance, he conveys the unfortunate condition, not just himself, but everyone. So that's what is this verse. So we read the translation. So Krishna Dyumni Nimloche Girineshu Agjagarena. So okay, we are first seeing the overview, then we'll go to the verses. So essentially, what this verse is speaking, that Krishna sun has gone. So who will be Kushal? Whole world is suffering because of lamentation. So next verse is speaking specifically about among all these, most unfortunate are Yadus. So next verse. You can read from there. It will be easy. From book, if anyone has. Others can see the book. It will be easy. So I'll read the words. You can also read with me. Durbhago bata lokoyam yadavo nitaramati ye samman satan dur harit vinai bodukam.
This universe with all its planets is most unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of the human dynasty because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon.
Yeah. So actually misfortune is for all 14 words, but especially who are unfortunate? The Yadus. And for whom Krishna is what? Krishna is their own relative, and they see him like moon. Now sun as analogy, the moon analogy is him. So they experienced Krishna's sweetness, but they thought that he is just one of the fish in the ocean, milk ocean. So Yadavo Nitaraam means what? They are more unfortunate. So let us quickly see first, and then the next slide is the details. So the 9th verse is why they are unfortunate, because they have partial understanding of Swayam Bhagavan. So Ingitagya Puruprouda Eka Ramascha Sattvataihi Sattvatam Rishabhat Sarve Bhutava Samsata.
The Hindus were all experienced devotees, known and expert in psychic study. Over and above this, they were always with the Lord in all kinds of relaxations, and still they were only able to know him as the one supreme who dwells everywhere.
So they knew him to be the best among our family members, and he is situated in all the living entities. That's why. They didn't knew the Swayam Bhagwan Krishna in that sense, the way Brajvasis knew. Right? In the sense, so we'll see the details. Now the views of materialist. So here is coming the first philosophical point. That my dear Uddhava, Vidura, don't get affected by the words whom you have heard from. So next verse. Devasya maya sprishta ye chanya asadashritaha brahmyate bhirna tatvakye atmano harau.
Under no circumstances can the words of person who whether usually MC of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls.
Yeah, so you have heard from some people something and you have got disturbed. So it should not be disturbed like this. Yeah. So that is the view of materialist. Now, who is that Hari? Atmani Utman. The person whose mind is absorbed in Krishna doesn't get affected by the criticizing words by the people who are touched by Krishna's mind. Okay, so who is that Hari? What is his form? That is the 12. Sorry, 11 is who is Lord Hari, how he manifests. And about his form is 12, 13 and 14. His complete sweetness. So you can see that here 11, 12, 13, 14. So what is the correct view of devotees is 11th verse. The wrong views are told in 10th verse. Right? They think themselves to be learned, but they are touched by Maya. Maya Sprishta. But now what is devotee's view? That is 11th verse. So let us read that one. Pradarshya tapasam avitritadrisham nrunam adayantaraghadyastu swavyambam lokalochanam. Please read.
Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the ark, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is, due to not executing the required penances.
Yeah. So he exhibited his form. It is not that he shows it and he withdraws it. It's not that he comes and goes. He shows and he pradarsha is not jata. Pradarsha means he shows the form and takes it on. So he showed the form for even anyone who was present there. But he took off that form. So that is the Hari's form. Okay, why it is so attractive? Then the next verse, right? So that we read, Yan Marte Livula Upagikam, 2 times we read. We will not read again. So truth of Lord form is 11. His form is exhibited and his form is taken away according to his will. What is description? 12th verse, which we saw. Now, there are 2 kinds of people. Those who are touched by Maya and those who are absorbed in him. 13 and 14 verses are telling that my dear Vidura, you have seen that form in the where? Dharma Shuno Bata Rajasuya. In Rajasuya sacrifice, you have seen it, but the demigods who were there, they were thinking that this is Brahma ji ke kya wo kaun sa gana? सब सुंदरता इधर लगा दिया. Like that is the next verse. यद्धर्मशूनोर बतराजसूये निरीक्षदृक्स्वस्तेनं तिलोकः कास्नेन चेद्देहगतं विधातुर् आर्वाक्श्रुतौ कौशलम् इत्थं मन्यत. Read translation.
All the demigods from the upper, lower, and middle universal planetary systems assembled at the altar of Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira. After seeing the beautiful bodily feature of Lord Krishna, they all contemplated that he was the ultimate dexterous creation of Brahma, the creator of human beings.
So demigods understanding was what? Is the best creation of Brahma, which is not the case. But issue is they were influenced by the beauty. But what about who are the true recipients of the beauty of his form? That is the next verse. Yasyanuraga plutaha sarasa leelavaloka pratilabdhamana brajastriyo drilviranam pravritta yo vasastu kirakritya shesham.
The dancers of Braja, after pastimes of laughter, humor, and exchanges of glances, were anguished when Krishna left them. They used to follow him with their eyes, and thus they sat down with stunned intelligence and could not finish their household duties.
So this is influence on the people who are absorbed in Krishna, and influence on those who are touched by Maya. So this is about his form and truth of his form and influence of his form. Now, what is the cause of exhibiting this form? That is the 15th one. There are so many scriptures, so many opinions about Krishna's form. Someone says he has come from Narayan. What is the truth? So this is the 15th verse, which Mahaprabhu explains in 75 verses. I think this only, somewhere, yeah. So 15th verse. स्वशान्तरूपेषु पितरस्वरूपै अभ्यर्दमानेषु अनुकम्पितात्मा परावरेषु महदंशयुक्तो यजोऽपि जातो भगवान् यथाग्निः.
The personality of Godhead, the all-compassionate controller of both the spiritual and material creation, is unborn. But when there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature, he takes birth just like fire, accompanied by the Mahatattva.
Yeah. So he takes fire. So details will be seen, but what is the reason is when there is a friction, then Lord takes birth. Krishna. It is specific about Krishna. It is not. Then, because how this Paravaresho Mahadamshayu, how it appears to be controlled by others, right? So he is controlled by so many devotees, right? So that doubt can come. So that is answered in 16th and 17th. So 16th verse is the confusion or not full understanding which Uddhava had before, but he got clarified from Krishna. So there are all contradictions in that verse. 16th verse. Mam khedayati etadajasya janma vidambanam yat vasudevagehi vrajecya vaso hridayat ivasvayam puradgadasit yadananta viryaha.
When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Praja and lived there incognito, out of fear of the enemy, and how, although on time, unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear. All these bewildering incidents gave me distress.
Yeah. So it shows that it is giving me distress, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that it used to give me distress. Now I don't have distress. Recent when he. And then 17th is that controlled. Kova amushangri saro jarenam vismartumi shita puman vijigran. That is correct. 18 only. No, I am missing one verse here. It's not. 17 verse can be. Dunoti chetah parato mamaitat yada pada vivanda pitro tatambakam sat purusham itana prasidatam no krita nishkritina.
Lord Krishna begged pardon from his parents for their Krishna's and Balram's inability to serve their feet due to being away from home because of great fear of Hamsa. He said, "O mother, O father, please excuse us for this inability. All this behavior of the Lord gives me pain at heart."
So he is he is remembering his own personal experience, what he saw. So that remembering now gives him a lot of distress. But how Lord is humble to comfort the other person, to awaken the rasa. Right? So that is what is 16th and 17th. Truth about apparently contradictory humanly past. So now ahead is someone may say, "Arey Uddhava, it's your faith that you are considering him God." ये आपका खुद का सोच है, he is God. So it's not the truth. Then Uddhava says, "Wait, I will give you a praman from my experience. No one can have such power and mercy which is exhibited by Krishna. So no one can do that kind of depiction. I'm telling he is only God, he is only Supreme, Krishna." So that is from 18 to 20. So now we will not read. So 18 is his power. So simply by raising his eyebrows in Kurukshetra, he could kill so many. He got killed. All the things. Who can do that? And that is what is the 19th verse, right? 18th verse. After having tasted the dust from his feet, who can forget his person, who removed the burden of earth by death in the form of his eyebrow? Right? So this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translation. That is his power, which he could accomplish such massacre. And then his mercy. That is the next verse. तथैव चान्ये नरलोकवीरा य आहवे कृष्णमुखारविन्दं नेत्रे पिबन्तो नयनाभिरामं पार्थस्तपूर्तापदमापुरस्य. Yeah, this is another form of his mercy.
Certainly, others who were fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrow, and while seeing the lotus-like face of Krishna, so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the abode of the Lord.
So this verse also there is class. Very wonderful. And the next verse is also telling about, so that is the mercy of Krishna. He sent back people who were killed by Arjuna to Padmapuri. Can any other incarnation do that? If he kills, at the most he can give him higher gati instead of narka. Higher gati, they can't give him liberation also. Only Krishna can give liberation. And Krishna can give bhakti also. So that is his mercy. So his power, his mercy. So 20th is also about mercy only. So these were neutral people. What to speak of? Shishupal. He was Dveshi. Him also he gave. That is the next. Right? That is 21. Not 21. 19 is. I think I missed one verse in between that. Yeah, 19th verse. So both are mercy verses only. So 19th verse we'll see now. So please read translation. 19th.
You have personally seen how the king of Chedi, Shishpada, achieved success in yoga practice. Although he hated Lord Krishna, even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him?
So that is his power. One who was hating him, he gave liberation. That is his mercy. So that is for hater. And there are other people who are neutral. It was given love for him. Padamapuras. That is his mercy. No one is merciful like him. So he is telling this cannot be done by, it's not my own faith. I am giving you evidence that he is God. Because of his power, because of his mercy. So like that, he kind of says. Now, Uddhava's personal appreciation of Krishna's sweetness over his greatness. So that is the last part of his talk. So 21 and 22 is how can I forget the sweetness of his Bhakta Vashyata. So I think 22nd, yeah, read translation. Actually, anyway, we'll do that later. So here you can see. So Bhakta Vashyata of 22. So that is what he is going to Ugraset and asking, oh, how I can serve you. But who is that person who is asking like this? His power is told in 21. This 21st verse is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 21st verse is about his power. Swayam Pradeshaha and all that. So he is supreme powerful, but he is controlled by, he is showing humility. Please tell me what I should do. So this is heart touching for Uddhava. How can I not forget such things? And then this is 21, 22. And 23 and 24 is extreme mercy. So 23 is extreme mercy. What is that? That verse which disturbed Shukadeva Goswami. So he got disturbed by beauty and he got disturbed by his mercy. The Baraha Pidam Natavara, that is the beauty of Krishna. And this is the mercy, extreme mercy of Krishna. Okay. That is Ahobakiyam, that is 23. So till there, this is the entire philosophical conclusion about the supremacy of Krishna and in Vrindavan. Everything is there. 24th verse, in his humility, he is saying actually the demons are fortunate than me because they could see Krishna when they were dying. But now I am such unfortunate that I am here. Krishna has died. So 24th verse is not Siddhanta. It is his emotion. So that's how he concludes. So this is how this is going. There is a particular flow here, the way he is explaining, and all the things are explained. So let us see now one by one. Right. So let us see these two verses now, 7 and 8. Right. So Krishna sun has set. So Mishra for all, especially Yadus. So let us go to those verses now. So here one, two, so we read this verse already. So here the essence, since we are having limited time, I will just quickly explain whatever is there. So the first thing here, that Krishna Jumni Nimlochi. So Krishna is compared to sun. So that goes to show that Krishna, the sun appears to, set. It is rising somewhere else. Means in this universe, he has withdrawn, some other universe pastimes are going on. Number one. That's the analogy which he is giving. Son of Krishna. Second point is, because of sun, when sun sets, the thieves, the chaura, preta, they all become happy. And the devotees become unhappy. Devotees, devatas, dharmic people, they become unhappy. So like that, everyone is in distress. So that is one part of purport of Srila Prabhupada, which he is saying. In purport, he explains sun analogy fully. So this is the essential point here. And second part of the thing is, he specifying. Kimnu kushalam. You are asking, see, this is the answer to the first question which he asked, which was clear. What was the first person whom he asked about? Krishna and Balaram. Are they kushal? So he's saying, who's kushal you are asking? Who can be kushal when such Krishna has left? All the world, the devotees, the dharmic people, the righteous people, they are all lamenting. You are also lamenting, I am also lamenting, all are lamenting. So that is specification. It is not that this is all Maya, your emotions are Maya. No. So his second part is he's specifying. So you can see this already we read. So this is what sun analogy. So there are difference in sun analogy here. So there is similarity which I told you. So Krishna takes birth in Gokul and then comes to Mathura and Prabhashi sets. Okay. So that way, these pastimes keep on going cycling, Nityalila. But there is difference in analogy. Sun remains the same all throughout, whether it's rising sun or middle sun. But Krishna's body at birth is different. In middle, it's different. There is difference. Krishna's birth and other actions are not apparent, but real since they are all eternal. That is the difference. So that is, and this already I told. Right? The righteous people without the devotees lament and devata charge of religion become unsettled. Whereas the dacoits, rakshasas and ghost thieves become happy. So Prabhupada explains these points, but please read this portion. As Prabhupada elaborates.
Vidura was struck with great sorrow when he got the hint of the annihilation of the great Yadu dynasty, as well as of his own family, the Kuru dynasty. Uddhava could understand the grief of Vidura, and therefore he told what was by saying that after God said, everyone is in darkness. Since the entire world was merged in darkness of grief, neither Uddhava or neither Vidura nor Uddhava nor anyone else could be happy. Uddhava was as much agreed as Vidura, and there was nothing further to be said about their welfare.
So this is how we pacify. So very clearly mentioned it. Uddhava could understand. So it is not that a person who is in ecstasy cannot understand others' emotion. Actually, he is the best person to understand others. Uddhava was as much aggrieved as Vidura, but there was nothing further to be said about whose welfare. No one is happy. So sun analogy, which I already have shortly told. So now the next verse is speaking about the specifically the Yadus are unfortunate. Durbhago batalokoyam yadavo nitaranatu. Ya samman satoha na viduhu harir meena ivodu. Yeah, please read translation.
This universe with all its planets is most unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of the living dynasty because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon.
Yeah, so now what is happening? He is saying that the Yadavas are most unfortunate. And he is saying out of his separation. Actually, Yadavas are not unfortunate. What is said here? They are some Vasanto means what? What is meaning? They are living with him, living together. Right? So what does that mean? This is in present tense. Means right now all Yadavas are with whom? Krishna in Aprakat Liva. So they are with Krishna, actually. But he is saying that they are unfortunate because of his separation. So that is what is told. That is called Prem Vaichitre. So what has happened? The Dwarkavasis have appeared in his heart and now he is thinking. So that is what is told here. You can see. Viraha Udrekena Akasmat Spuritam. So because of his separation, he is thinking about Dwarkavasis. So what happens? You understand the sun and moon analogy. So in separation, what happens? Separation is like fire of sun. So sun means what? Right now sun is on. So what you can see? Everything you can see. Yeah? But in moonlit night, can you see everything? Moonlight, what you can see? Can you see something, right? Some objects are seen, some objects are not seen. So actually, when they are with the Lord, then they experience the sweetness. But when they become separated from the Lord, then they experience, it's like sunshine, fire. So they are able to remember the greatness of Lord. So that is what is being said. So because Uddhava is in separation, he is thinking that they are not with the Lord like me. Actually, they are sitting, they are with him only. So that is what is called Prema Vaichitrya. That is what is told by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. So you will feel why I am explaining this. Because Prabhupada is explaining his purport. Please read that first. So maybe Prabhupada's purport you can read. Okay. Here, we'll see first. Yeah, please read this.
Having shown the unfortunate condition of the superior persons of this world without the Lord.
So that is which verse? Previous verse. Unfortunate condition of superior persons of this world. The dharmic people and all those. Now,
Out of bewilderment of Prema, he criticizes those persons. From seeing his own awareness of the Lord's great powers, which has suddenly arisen from his feeling of great separation, and not seeing that awareness of the Lord's powers in the Lord's associates in Dwarka.
yeah. So what has happened? This greatness of Lord has come in his heart. That's why he is criticizing. So this criticism is not literal. Criticism is out of his viraha. Because they are with Krishna. Now vidu means what? They don't know. So this is also in present tense. Present tense means they are all, like we yesterday discussed. In Pradyumna, there are two people. One is eternal associate Pradyumna, and who is the other one? Cupid. So eternal associate has one Krishna in Prakat Lila, they are there in Dwarka. And they are with Krishna only. So he is saying they don't know. They are staying with him now. So here the emotion of Uddhava is more than them, we are unfortunate. Actually, they are with Krishna, but we, you and me are unfortunate. Krishna has left and they are there and we are here. So that is what is being said. So Prabhupada writes all these things in one statement. So I will show that statement to you. That is at the, you read this first.
He regretted everyone's misfortune, including his own. The pure devotee of the Lord thinks himself most unfortunate. That is due to excessive love for the Lord and is one of the transcendental perception of viraha, suffering of separation.
Yeah. So this you understand, transcendental perception of viraha. So when one is in viraha, his perceptions are different. So that's what is happening here. Due to excessive love, he is criticizing. It is not that he wants to criticize. So that is what I said. So Prabhupada is writing all that. But before that, he is telling the degrees of fortunate people. Because he is saying that Durbhago Vatalokoyam. Entire 14 words are in unfortunate now. दुर्भाग्य. लेकिन उसमें यादव सबसे ज्यादा दुर्भाग्य, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा आप और मैं दुर्भाग्य. That's what Prabhupada explains here. You can see. So he exhibited his potencies as personality ordered in 6 opulences when Krishna appeared in this world. But the foolish persons of the world, they could not understand Krishna. So they are most unfortunate. These are the people who are ignorant, foolish person. They thought he is extraordinary historical figure, etc. More unfortunate were the family members of Lord. Why they are? Read this portion.
But more unfortunate were the family members of the Lord. Members of the Edhu dynasty who were always in company with the Lord, but were unable to recognize him as supreme personality of God.
So this principle, we'll go to that. Now, why they are unfortunate? Why, what is Prabhupada saying here? They could not recognize Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan. So that is the next verse. Prabhupada is telling here on. Because he has experienced that in Vrindavan. And then what he is telling? Third, Uddhava. Yeah, please.
Uddhava lamented his own misfortune also, because although he knew Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, he could not properly use the opportunity to render devotional service to the Lord.
Yeah. So in this verse, he is pacifying also, he himself is affected also. So a lot of things are happening here. Okay? So that's what are explained very clearly. So this unfortunate situation will be clarified in the next verse. Next verse he will say. So Prabhupada is telling here only. Okay? And the moon analogy. So moon analogy is clear that the fish in the ocean. So moon also took birth from where? Milk ocean in the Samudra Manthan. So they think that he is so beautiful, but he is also another fish. So the Dwarkavasis thought that he has taken birth in our family and he is very beautiful. They experienced the warmth and everything. So that's why Hari Meena, na Vidu, they didn't know who is that. They just consider he is the best of among us and he is there in all living entity. So that is moon or ocean analogy. So Prabhupada explained that and he punches on scientists also. So that is the way. The unfortunate persons who do not recognize Lord Krishna are like such fish. So Prabhupada criticizes the people also. They take him to be one of them, although a little extraordinary in opulence and strength. So Mahapurush hai, bade raja the. So Prabhupada is taking a point to criticize people who are avajananti category. However, Uddhava is speaking about whom? Only Yadavas. Yadavas didn't knew him as Swayam Bhagavan. So one may say how it is like that. So that is the next verse he says. So next verse is what? So please read this. See, Uddhava is only person who knows Dwarkavasis and Vrajvasis. Yeah? So he is saying that they don't know him, they don't know his great powers. Dwarkavasis. But Dwarkavasis is still new to some extent, right? But Vrajvasis were not knowing. So that's what. Please read.
The inhabitants of earth are not devoid of knowledge of the Lord's powers, as were the inhabitants of Gokula, who experienced only sweetness in pure prema. How then can Uddhava say that they did not know the Lord's powers?
So what was the word used? Na vidu. They are staying with him, but they don't know he is the Supreme Lord. So he is saying that they don't know powers of Krishna. But how can Uddhava say like that? Because they were having some awareness of Krishna's power. Whereas Vrajvasis don't know fully. So that's what is the point which is made here. As were the inhabitants of Gokula who experienced only sweetness. Whereas Dwarkavasis knew both. Right? Yeah, so how can he say that in the previous verse? So now next verse clarifies. So actually this verse is clearly telling the difference between Vraj Bhakti and other Dwarkavasis Bhakti. So this is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying. So iti इंगितज्ञ पुर प्रौढ़ा एकारामश्च सात्वतैः सात्वता सात्वतां ऋषभं सर्वे भूतावासम् अमं सत.
The Yadus were all experienced devotees, learned and expert in psychic study. Over and above this, they were always with the Lord in all kinds of relaxations, and still they were only able to know him as the one supreme who dwells very well.
Yeah, so their misfortune is not because of lack of knowledge. Their misfortune is because they don't know about Krishna Swayam Bhagavan feature fully. That is their misfortune. So he is telling from his own experience. Prachina Nij Anubhavam Aha. So he was seeing Krishna like this before he experienced Vrindavan. What they saw? Two qualities of Krishna. What is that? Last two lines. What is that? Sattvatam Vrishabham. Means what? Best among our dynasty. Sattvata is their dynasty. Vrishab means the best. And what is the second thing they knew? Sarva Bhutavasam. Means he is present in everyone's heart. Right? But they don't know him like Vrajvasis. So that is their misfortune. Although it's not that I am not saying that they didn't experience sweetness of Krishna. Ingitagya means what? They could understand Krishna's desires. Ingitagya is word used for Devhuti also. You didn't, Kardama didn't have to instruct her. Simply by seeing, she will understand what. So Dwarkavasi is also very intimate with Krishna. Ingitagya means psychic study. They could understand and please Krishna. Puru Prauda, highly experienced. And they relished Krishna's association. Eka in seclusion. Eka Ramasta Sattvatai. Right? So they did experience, but they also knew some part of greatness. But not like Vrajvasi. So this misfortune is what Uddhava only can understand. No one else can understand. So that is the point in this way. So how can then Uddhava say that they did not know Lord's powers? So they knew Lord's powers, and that is this. Whereas Vrajvasis never thought like this. They just saw Krishna as a person whom to love. That's all. He is not, there in everyone's heart. It's all covered by Yogmaya, right? So they were more fortunate. So this criticism is out of his to prove the superiority of Vrajvasis. So that's what. So you can see, because they had great intelligence, they knew what was in Krishna's heart, Ingitagya. What to speak of sweetness of him. But in spite of that, they did not know his powers. They enjoyed him with individually, sitting, resting, etc. They thought of Krishna, who was present as their eternal master, best among themselves, and as Paramatma. but they did not know Krishna as Swayam Bhagwan, as like this, as source of knowledge. That is the meaning when Uddhava said that they did not know the Lord. So when we say Swayam Bhagwan Krishna, so fully it exhibits in Braj, where he is, but he is completely covered. So that was not the case with the Dwarkavasis. So that's the last. You can see the last line in this one. Please read.
In this word, it is proper that some know Krishna as Bhagavan and some do not. That is not criticized. Criticized are those who are intermediate, those who half know Bhagavan.
Yeah. So fully knowers of Bhagavan are atheistic. They are emotional atheists. We have to become emotional atheists from philosophical atheist. So there are philosophical atheists which are the foolish people of this world. And there are sentimental atheists who are not atheists before, but they become atheists because of some incidents in their life. And then we have to become theist by understanding the Bhagavatam. But eventually what we have to become? Emotional atheist. Krishna is not God. And that understanding is Swayam Bhagavan understanding. And that was with whom? Only Brahma. So half knowledge of Swayam Bhagavan was there for everyone else. Whosoever is there, below. So that's what is criticized. So Srila Prabhupada writes amazing purport. Highest glory of Rajvasis and Brajvasis.
Just to clarify, half knowledge means they know that he is Paramatma. Sweetness they don't know at all.
No, they experience sweetness.
They know means in terms of fully that.
Yeah, which Uddhava could see in Vrindavan, that much they don't know.
Correct. That is very clear. When here Vishwanath Thakur is telling that they know only half
Yes.
Bhagwan, means to what extent? Exactly what things?
That's what they know both. They are experiencing sweetness, but not fully. So this half knowledge is what he is criticizing.
Brahmasi experiencing complete, the Vaikuntha was there experiencing another complete.
Aishwarya.
Aishwarya, full Aishwarya. And then in between, little Madhurya, little Aishwarya. So that's why it is half blended. And it is.
Yeah, and but not that Vaikuntha Vasis are better. No, Dwarka Vasis are better than Vaikuntha Vasis. But why he is criticizing them because they are unfortunate. They don't know Rajvasi's devotion. That is his mode. So you see, Prabhupada writes all these things. Because no one, because he himself, see here it is written, Nija Anubhav, Prachina Nija Anubhav. So he used to see Krishna like this. And he knows what others think of him. But when he went to Vrindavan, and he tried to tell Nand Maharaj, hey, your son is whom, you know? And then he heard Nand Maharaj devotion and then he started crying more actually. Nand Maharaj said, you're a fool, you know, you told me, made me more problem. I didn't know that he is that and we lost him. So, that's how he's feeling the unfortune. So here that is the verse. So now you see Prabhupada's purport with this background. Yeah. So Prabhupada begins that to understand this, one cannot understand by any study, any lecture, but by mercy of Lord. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya, na Medaya, na Bahuna Shrutam. That's how he begins, Cut open. The beginning of purport is this. And now you read this now. The Yadavas, now it will become clear.
The Yadavas were all exceptionally learned and experienced, but in spite of their knowing the Lord as the one who lives in everyone's heart, they could not understand that he is the original present Godhead. This lack of knowledge was not due to their insufficient erudition, it was due to their misfortune. In Vrindavan, however, the Lord was not even known as the Paramatma, because the residents of Vrindavan were pure, unconventional devotees of the Lord and could think of him only as their object of love. They did not know that he is the personality of Godhead. Yadus, or the residents of Dwarka, however, could know Lord Krishna as Vasudeva or the super soul living everywhere, but not as the Supreme Lord.
So that is it clear here? That Brajvasis, so their misfortune is not because of ignorance, but their misfortune is because of experience. Which, so that is what is the point. So what Prabhupada is using, so that's why Brajvasis are called pure unalloyed devotees, so pure unconventional devotees. So purity is there in the pleasing the Supreme Lord. But what is the alloy? When we say these two words are used, so pure devotees are all the Vaikuntavasis, including Goloka. All are pure devotees. But who are pure unalloyed devotees? Brajvasis. So what is the alloy which is there in the rest of the? Yes. So the alloy, there is a mixture there. So that is what is being called as unfortunate. That mixture is saying, "Arey, that what their problem is." But for Brajvasis, it is only their object of love. So this is Swayam Bhagavan understanding means Swayam Bhagavan never wants to be Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan. So that is Brajvas. So that's how this verse is establishing the fact of the Brajvasis are highest. And here the verse is quoted, that verse Mallanam Ashani Nirman. The 12 rasas. So Vrishni Nam Paradevate Vidito. So Vrishnis we are seeing him as Paradeva. So that kind of Aishwarya Gyanva. So more description you can hear this lecture.
Especially in this shloka where it is said, Guru Bhagavata Lokoyam Yadva
Vitarama.
because it is the word used there is Harim Mina Ivo means means comparison given of this. But Prabhupada translating it not identify Lord Hari as the personality of God. It appears that it is like not identifying him as the supreme or like Sarveshwar and that kind of Bhagwan. It appears like that.
Yeah, but what not? That's what Prabhupada uses word supreme personality everywhere. Even Paramatma is there, he will write that. So,
but it indicates when we say Swayam Bhagwan, that means witness Krishna or Krishna, like that.
That's what is in this context. Because in English, what you will do? You have to write some terminology. So the thing is, they saw him as the best among the Yadus and Paramatma. So that greatness part they were knowing. But sweetness also they are experiencing. So they are in between. So the greatness is completely removed. So although the word is used personality of Godhead, but it has to be understood that they understood him as Paramatma. So यही तो मिक्सचर है ना. There is some half which is said for Uddhava. So this lecture 26 minutes you can hear. Uddhava realizes this where Maharaj explains this principle very nicely. What is this pure unconventional? So Supreme Lord is God is also conditioned to express the love, isn't it? He is God, so I serve. But they don't have that even condition. So that condition, so Uddhava is able to, because Uddhava was sent, he could understand. And they don't see him as God at all. They just serve him because they love the person. That's all. And that's what Krishna also likes. Yeah. So actually that is what is Nirupadi Ishwar and Nirupadi Jeev. They can relish each other's association fully. Otherwise, there is all mixture. Either alloyedness is there or some impurity is there. Pure unalloyed devotees, right? So this is what is the highest understanding of Krishna. So that's what is established here. And yes, so this is all told. So now, having said that, so now he tried to pacify him, and now he comes to the one philosophy. Yeah, please read this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur link for the next verse.
Those devotees living in the material world suffer in separation from the Lord, and the Yadavas, eternally in his association, are happy in his association. These two types of persons are fortunate since they have devotion, others not being devotees have hellish existence. That is explained in this verse.
So next verse is telling that those who are touched by Maya, those who are non-devotees, they are having hellish existence because they criticize Krishna. That is the point. And two kinds of devotees. Which two? Those who are with Krishna, eternal associates, and those who are here in separation from Krishna. They are fortunate because of Bhakti. Those who are Vimukhas, so they are touched by Maya. And you don't get disturbed by such people's words. You heard about Prabhas, don't get disturbed. देवस्य मायया स्पृष्टा ये चान्यत् सदाश्रिताः भ्राम्यते धीर्न तद्वाक्ये आत्मनि उत्पन्नमोहरौ.
Under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by illusionary energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls.
Yeah. So, those who are completely surrendered soul, Atmani Upta Atmano. So, their dhi na brahman. They are never affected. Their intelligence is never affected by Tadvakya. Whose Vakya? Those who are touched by Maya. They will speak nonsense. So many kinds of nonsense. So they are refuted gradually, one after the other, in the next few words. All their nonsense or all their inappropriate talks about Krishna are refuted. And these touched by Maya, and there are others who are Asadashrita. So both people. So there are someone who are there in your dynasty, like Shishupal. They are touched by Maya, or like Asadashrita. So these all categories of people are have hellish existence. So don't get affected by such talks. So that is the thing. So this already we read. So those who touched by Lord's Maya, thinking themselves learned. So they are not learned, but what they think, we are learned. And those who take shelter of evil mentality, Asadashrita, completely different from real conclusions. What they say? Krishna gave up his body and went to Vaibhava. So Krishna did that specifically to bewilder the atheist. He left the universal form. Secondly, what? They say Krishna along with his dynasty were destroyed by the curse of Brahman. Brahman ne curse kiya, Gandhari ne curse kiya. Why? Because he committed unjustified violence against the great kings like Dhritarashtra and Jarasandha. Such comments they do. Yeah, read the remaining portion.
However, the intelligence of the devotee who has absorbed his mind Uttatmana in Paramatma is not bewildered by such critical words. Rather, he is absorbed in Krishna's sweetness. Those who are bewildered by such words deserve hell.
So he is saying, see, I am not at all disturbed. I know what is happening. This is the Lord's Leela. For Kali, he has put all these things. Kali has to enter. So these all massacre things are being propagated. So you don't get affected by that. Just be absorbed in Krishna's sweetness. Okay, what is that Krishna? Who is that Hari and what is his sweetness? That is next verse, right? So that is what is spoken.
For this, they don't have any Shastric references. It's just the commentary. These two reasons.
They will have Shastric references as in terms of Mahabharata.
There it's written.
When Vansham Payan says that about Prabhas, that they killed each other, no? And it all because of Gandhari's curse and the Samba issue. So this whole thing, it is described in Mahabharata. Vishwanath says that in 11 Canto Purport. That Lord means it is written in scriptures. So that what will happen? People will read and they will discuss. And what will happen? Offenses will happen. And then Kali can come. Without that, Kali can't come. And Kali has to come in Kali Yuga. And if Krishna doesn't do this Leela, then what will happen? If Krishna leaves, whole atmosphere will become like Satya Yuga.
You should say like this. You should not say like
Yes. Because see, he killed more or less many negative people are almost over. Can you imagine how many killing happened? 84 lakh, no? Or 64 lakh in that. And then Jarasandha also brought many. 16, 17 times. So a lot of negative people are almost finished. So there are neutral and there are devotees. So devotees will go in separation and neutral people will become devotees, seeing them. So Kali Yuga can come, Satya Yuga atmosphere will come. So Lord is worrying what to do. Kali has come to meet him. So Kali, Lord starts planning. And then he plans this Leela of Moshe. And that is what is revealed to Uddhava, and he got Utsmaya. That word was there. He saw the cleverness of Lord in enacting this pastime of the wind up of the Leela. So that is what. So they have references from Shastra, like Mahabharata.
Mahabharata is like Madhvacharya himself recommends as these scriptures, ideal scriptures. So is Acharya also, alright.
Yes.
So how can Kali enter in these scripture, which is referred by our Acharya?
See, Kali is not there in scripture. Even Bhagavatam also one can read and Kali can get affected. It's not about scripture. Kali is there in the heart and the scripture will enhance that conviction on Kali. So Madhvacharya wrote a Tatparya Nirnaya, right? So he wrote right conclusions because it's in Parampara. Parampara people are not going to commit offenses because they will have clear understanding coming through Parampara. Those who will go for such talks that, this is what is said in Mahabharata. So there is a question of faith. What do you believe?
Shlokas are not there, it's interpretation.
No, shlokas are there.
So what Madhvacharya commented on that?
I have not read that. I am telling you the principle that when you say Shastra reference, we have to see which Shastra also. Because Mahabharata is meant for which people? There are different category of people.
According to Madhvacharya for all.
Madhvacharya is not written for that.
But he says it's the explanation of everything. It has everything, Mahabharata.
It has. That's what yesterday Prabhu was saying. Venugopal Prabhu was saying. Actually, there is pure devotion there also. But what is emphasis? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So now you narrate some story which happened in NVCC. And you elaborate about the details of the activity and not the devotional part. What the audience is going to focus on depends on what they are inclined to. So that is the glory of the scripture Bhagavad. So there is pure devotion in Mahabharata. But it is not highlighted. Highlighted is dharma, not this. And in that Mahabharata, the Pravash Leela is told like this. That because of curse, etc. Because what happens and what is narrated through, Khan Goshti. So many things get added, right? So that's what is plan of law. That people will hear this and they will start telling. And then what will happen? Avajananti Mamoda, that verse is good. So they will criticize me. And what will happen? Then Kali will come as early as possible. And those who are in Parampara, they will get the right message. So that is the confidentiality which Krishna is keeping. Because Krishna has to deal with you and me. In Kali Yuga has to come, otherwise where will take birth? Our desires are such that Kali Yuga has to come. In Kali Yuga, how Kali Yuga can come? Something has to be done by the Supreme Lord. So Lord is enacting this pastime like this. So 11, that is a very big purport. So I will show you that. After reading, maybe if some more things are there.
Krishna. Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
Yes, bro. Not a very topic.
Prabhuji, when the Shastras there is contradiction. For example, we say Krishna's body is transcendental. So then sometimes some people say in Shastra only there is a reference that Krishna leaves his body here and goes, and body was here. So body is different and he is different. So I understand it is for bewildering, but we give a Shastric reference that some Gita means we say the transcendental body, Sachidananda Vigraha.
I did say na, he left the universal form. And why
Ah,
he left? For sake of these people to comment. See, so that's
no,
the
means
point.
my point is means we support our statement by the scriptures. Means Prabhupada used to say that we have to give reference whatever we say.
Correct, correct.
So these people also give reference from the scriptures only. So how to come to the conclusion whenever we have discussions with the people, because some people have doubt, not they are not
That's why you
atheists.
give them prasad and be greatly respectful to them.
No,
And
they are not
restore their
atheists. They are not atheists, but how to means just we have to say them that it is for bewildering. Like that, we have to come to conclusion.
actually, that's what. That is like calling them. You understand? Disrespect ho gaya na. Did Mahaprabhu speak like that with Prakashanand Saraswati? How Mahaprabhu told about Shankaracharya to them?
Okay, means very respectfully,
Huh? Very
with
respectful.
respect.
First, he entered their hearts by humility
Hmm.
and his dealings. And then when they inquired from him, then he started speaking little bit. And then they wanted to know more. And then he said, actually, I was going to speak something about Shankaracharya. And actually, you are followers of Shankaracharya. Should I speak? Something like that, he says. So, how do you present? What do you present is the most important thing. Because this is not an intellectual thing, bro. This is not about arguing and this is not about understanding through intelligence. It is more about faith and mercy. That's how Prabhupada began the purport, right? Previous purport. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo. So it is about mercy. So Mahaprabhu gave them mercy by allowing Prakashanand Saraswati to serve him. That's how the receptivity was created. So receptivity has to be created in such person. We cannot sit and argue. Nowadays in Kali Yuga, forget that kind of thing because there are no such people now. Those who argue, because there are no right arguers. You understand Vada? Vada means that person, if you defeat, then he will surrender to you. Such people you forget now. Such people don't exist. Very few. So it is not an intellectual thing, bro. So we have to see the other party, how much water is in he, and appreciate what good thing he is doing. Number one. And then present in a such a way that it is receptive. Your dealings should be so wonderful that he wants to talk to you further.
Yeah.
So this is the gradual way Mahaprabhu did that.
Yeah.
So that is my humble opinion. I have not met such people. Generally, they become angry actually when we tell them. You cannot tell, this is all to bewilder all of you. This is Asuri Mohan Leela, like that. So that can be said when one has come to certain level of discussion.
Okay, well, thank you.
So it will come through, let us see the purport because we are just began. These arguments, one of the argument is this. There are so many other arguments. So let us see that first and then we will come to this. We have just began. So Prabhupada begins by saying that Krishna is accepted by Shankaracharya. But when he was present in this world, different classes of men accepted him differently. And therefore, their calculations of Lord were also different. So this is the problem. And Prabhu, Krishna is the most difficult thing. Forget about the non-devotees. Even to understand Krishna for Vaishnavas is difficult. That's what is the next verse. So Prabhupada is telling, generally people who have faith in the revealed scriptures accepted Lord as He is, and all of them merged into great bewilderment. But those who are partially cognizant of Lord, they also felt. And Yadavas and other devotees of Lord are different from those who wrongly calculated him to be ordinary human personality. Such persons are certainly bewildered by illusory image. So who are Maya as Prishta, Prabhupada is defining first. And then he says that illusory energy acts very powerful. It can make them convinced about anything. And Bhagavatam and other scriptures are written also for that purpose. So you see, this whole thing is there. And that's why I have written here, Maya Aparata Jnana. So there are one category of Vaishnava, with all due respect. They say that actually they are pure devotees of Lord Narayan. And they say Krishna is just an ordinary. Yes. So Maya Aparata, Vishwanath Thakur is saying, Maya Aparata Jnana. He puts them in which category? Maya Aparata Jnana. So their knowledge is stolen by illusory. So they are worshippers of Narayan, devoted worshippers of Narayan. So I was wondering how it's possible, but actually Vishwanath Thakur is writing means it might be there in that time. Now we have not met anyone. So what are their statements? So this Prabhupada elaborates. Many impious acts on plotting to kill sons of Dhritarashtra and Jarasandha. Such people have no faith in the statement of Bhagavad Gita that Lord is unaffected by reactions of earth. Simple refutation. They say that Krishna was affected by curse, but Krishna is telling Namam Karmani Limpantu. What is the Lord? So atheistic point of. And this is another thing, curse of Brahma. All these blasphemies do not touch the heart of the devotees of the Lord because they know perfectly well what is what. So this is the most important statement for us. They perfectly well know what is what and who is who. So this is the Gaudiya Vaishnava or Vaishnava. He knows clearly what. So whatever they blaspheme, he is not affected by it. Rather, he can reconcile what they are saying if there is some truth in it. And he will tell this is truth and this is little inappropriate. Their intelligence regarding the Lord is never disturbed. But those who are disturbed by the statements of Asuras are also condemned. That is what Uddhava meant in this verse. So means those who get affected are also condemned. So if some criticism happens of Krishna, then we have to see whether it is clear or not. And there should be pain in our heart. And then we find out what is the truth. Right? So that is what. Otherwise, that is also condemned. That's a half knowledge. No? So Prabhupada is writing the same statement in other way. You see? What Vishwanath wrote is half knowledge are condemned, right? Previously. Now Prabhupada is writing here. Those who are disturbed by the statements of Asuras. So Asuras are condemned anyway. The followers of Bhakti, those who are getting affected by Asura statement are also condemned by Uddhava. That is what Uddhava is meaning in this verse. So and that's why there is verse in Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. What is that? Manmaya Mam Upashyata. Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Mad Bhava. So meaning of this verse is they did a lot of Jnana Tapasa. So what is that? To establish Krishna's supremacy and avoiding, refuting all other wrong ideas of all these fellows. They don't get angry. They don't get fearful by hearing the arguments about Krishna's personality. So what they do, they have to go to the scriptures and do Gyan Tapas to establish Krishna's supremacy. And by that establishing, they get pure. And they attain Mad Bhava. So this verse is very deep. Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. These are all material emotions. Man Maya Mam Upashritaha. Those who have taken shelter of me. Krishna is speaking this word personally. Shyam Sundar Krishna. And Bahavo, so many people in the past, what tapasya did it? Jnana tapasya. So that's why Prabhupada is saying we have to do this tapasya of studying of his books and studying the books of left by previous acharyas. This tapasya of Jnana. Or we have to study or we have to hear. Whatever. Both same. But that will lead to what? What is important? Is it important to get affected by them and convince them? That is one part of it. But what is more important? The rest part of the verse. What is that? Bhavo jnana tapasa puta. Puta mad bhav. Who gets purified? The person who is trying to understand Krishna's supremacy and dealing with all the arguments. His mind becomes fixed on Krishna. And that is what is meaning of Siddhanta Baliya Chitte. Nakare alas. Never do alas to understand Bhagavatam. That's what Gopal is telling in that verse, where Mahaprabhu is saying that Guru Mori Morka Dekhi Karila Shasanamaya. Where Prabhupada writes that one has to study Bhagavatam regularly with scrutiny to gradually become attached to chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it is not just a book. It's purifying. Simply, and we should try to understand. Even if you don't understand, there is no problem. Problem is the endeavor has to be there. Because the understanding is not in our... Today, Prabhu gave a very amazing analogy. It is given by Acharya. He said that the Yoga Maya of Krishna is very difficult to understand. He was telling this pastime of just 2 minutes, I will tell that. Pause for Prasad. Like Shuddhadeva and Bahulashwa. So Krishna's Yoga Maya is acting what, there were expansions of Shuddhadeva Bahulashwa also. There were expansions of Krishna also. And there were expansions of sages also. All are two sets. Why? So Bahulashwa thought that Krishna and all sages are coming in my house only. And Shuddhadev went alone at home. And Shuddhadev thinks that Krishna only came with me along with all sages. And Bahulashwa is going alone to the kingdom, alone to the palace. This is the experience given by Krishna through Yoga Maya. Can you imagine? And why he is doing personal experience? He feels Krishna is so kind. He has come to my house. From so far he came, leaving his wife, leaving his so much, he came here. So he is completely gone. So who is doing this? Yoga Maya. So Yoga Maya is so difficult to understand. And then when he went into the second Chatusloki to explain Yoga Maya's function. And then he said that Yoga Maya's expansion is Mahamaya. It is like snake is there. When snake's skin becomes affected, then what he does? He leaves the dead. Right? And that is like Mahamaya. Yoga Maya's activity, Mahamaya's activity is like the dead Kechuli, Yogi Prabhupada. And our intelligence is made of a fraction of that Mahamaya. Our faculty of intelligence is coming from Mahamaya only, right? The intelligence which we have in this. So is there any possibility of understanding Krishna's pastimes? So it's because of only by mercy of Krishna. So we can't understand. Like South Indian Bhana is apparently not understanding what is happening. But faith is there. Faith is there on the process. Faith is there on Bhagavatam. Faith is there on Chaitanya Charitamrita. And try to hear, try to understand with whatever capacity we have. Doesn't matter. And appreciate that. So that is what is expected. It's not that everyone has to understand everything. Not required. Why it is required? So that is what is the thing here. So we'll pause here. We'll continue at 6 o'clock. Hare Krishna. We'll pause here and continue.
Going to work in the
Huh?
Shastra is like the cow. Someone wants to give that reputation, then they will also put the shloka, they will say that when they milk the cow, that instead of milk, they will get that, but they will say that my milk is spreading cow.
Oh, his analogy.
From the same Shastra, they will mention in the Shastra. Like,
Yeah, that is very Shastric analogy. Because Sarvopanishado Gav, right? Yeah. Very Shastric. Or they will हिंदी में बोलना, हिंदी में बोल सकते।
स्टार्ट होता है क्योंकि जैसे हम देखते हैं फर्स्ट कैंटो में दोनों का जो उसकी शुद्ध गोस्वामी से पूछते हैं, तो वो पहले कृष्ण का फर्स्ट टाइम वर्णन करते हैं,
6 प्रश्न पूछते हैं।
ये तो फिर उसके बाद वो आते हैं परीक्षित महाराज पर। परीक्षित महाराज प्राप्त आए और वो नदी के किनारे बैठे हैं। फिर उन्होंने पूछा सुखदेव गोस्वामी से। फिर सुखदेव गोस्वामी एट द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द सेकंड कैंटो बोलते हैं वेरिया ने समझे प्रश्न विश्व में मुझे वो क्वेश्चन पूछता है, तो उन्होंने फिर शुरू किया। और मैं देखता हूँ 8th चैप्टर में वो 8 9 7 में उधर बोलते हैं कि ये जो ज्ञान है मैं अपने फादर वेद व्यास से सुना था। तो उसके बाद से भागवत स्टार्ट होता है, एक से स्टार्ट होता है, सेकंड से स्टार्ट होता है, कंटिन्यू है भागवत।
कैसा है जो जो हमारा 18,000 वर्सेस जो है, वो एक रिकॉर्डिंग है। वो रिकॉर्डिंग हुआ शौनक आदि ऋषियों का, वो वाला जो हमें 18,000 श्लोक वाला है वो भागवतम हम देखते हैं वो है। लेकिन उसके पहले बाकी सब हुआ है। ठीक है, तो जो वर्णन किया वेद व्यास ने, जो लिखा है, वो है जो सूत गोस्वामी ने बताया शौनक आदि ऋषियों को। हाँ, तो वो रिकॉर्डिंग है उसका। लेकिन वो बताते कि सुखदेव गोस्वामी ने वो फर्स्ट कैंटो के एंड, सेकंड कैंटो के शुरुआत में फिर सुखदेव गोस्वामी आते हैं। तो ये हुआ कैसे है, ब्रह्मा भगवान ने ब्रह्मा को बताया 4 श्लोक, वो आपने पिछले अध्याय पिछले मंथ में सुना 2.9, वो सबसे पहला भागवत करेक्ट। वो ब्रह्मा जी ने नारद को बताया, वो 3 चैप्टर 4 5 6 7 सेकंड कैंटो, वो हो गया 4 श्लोक का, हो गया 3 चैप्टर। तो जो नारदा ने सुना वो वेद व्यास जी को संतुष्ट किए, मतलब असंतुष्ट थे उनको 1.45 में उनको इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया कि ऐसा लिखो नारद व्यास संवाद में। फिर वेद व्यास जी ने उनके इंस्ट्रक्शन से समाधि में जाके जो लिखा वो है 18,000 श्लोक वाला भागवत, जो हम अभी पढ़ रहे हैं। वो जो वेद व्यास जी ने लिखा, तो उन्होंने क्या लिखा, जो सूत गोस्वामी ने सुना। सूत गोस्वामी परीक्षित महाराज की सभा में मौजूद थे, मतलब परीक्षित के साथ वो भी सुने, तो उन्होंने फिर शौनक आदि ऋषियों को सुनाया, वो वाला हमें इधर बता। तो ऐसा इसका विस्तार हो रहा है।
जो जैसे कहा जाता है कि भगवान कृष्ण ने 5,000 साल के लिए करीब तैयार किए, तो उसके जस्ट बाद
वेद व्यास असंतुष्ट हुए,
हाँ वेद व्यास जी में,
क्योंकि कलयुग का प्रभाव पड़ गया ब्राह्मणों पे।
तो तब जो भागवत
तो फिर सब उन्होंने वेद लिखे, सब सब पुराण लिखे, महाभारत लिखा, तो भी असंतुष्ट है। फिर नारद मुनि आए, फिर उन्होंने भागवत की रचना की। फिर परीक्षित महाराज भी आए, उन्होंने रूल किया, फिर कलयुग आया, फिर उनको शाप मिला, फिर वो गए गंगा, तो सुखदेव गोस्वामी, तो तब तक सुखदेव गोस्वामी वेद व्यास से सीख लिए थे। इसका एक स्लाइड है, मैं आपको भेज सकता हूँ, एकदम एक स्लाइड में स्पष्ट हो जाएगा सब कुछ।
तो जो
मतलब ये जो सीक्वेंस ऑफ इवेंट्स है ना, ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग नहीं है, क्लिष्ट है, स्पष्ट है लेकिन क्लिष्ट है। तो वो उसका एक स्लाइड है, आप सिर्फ देखोगे तो स्पष्ट हो जाएगा। तो वो आपको भेजूंगा, अगर नहीं तो बाद में क्लास के हम चर्चा करेंगे। ठीक है, जैसे भगवान का आविर्भाव बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है ना, तो भागवतम भी भगवान ही तो है, तो उसका भी आविर्भाव बहुत क्लिष्ट है। अब क्या हुआ, ओके ठीक है, चालू करते हैं। शॉर्ट रेसिपी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी। Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharam Nirvishesha Shunavadi Paschatya Chataram Panchakalpatarundesha Kripasimudaiva Patitanam Kalam Guru Vaishnavesho Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I would like to apologize. I'm not able to serve you properly because of not preparing properly. The there is class in the morning also. Though once I have studied this, made some document, but please forgive me for that and try to tolerate whatever is coming. I am trying my best to some extent. I would have done better communication, what I am trying to say, but it appears to me also, for myself, I am not satisfied the way I am trying to explain. So, I apologize for that. However, if you feel something discussion that can be brought out so that the flow of thought, because there are multiple things, so something has to be filtered, something has to be taken. So it requires some kind of preparation. So that I could not properly do, although things are a little bit highlighted and emphasis is there. Depends on. So please tolerate and I now apologize to all of you. Such a wonderful section I am not able to properly communicate. Because of my own state. So again try. So we covered verses in 10 thoughts, right? So we have seen this here. So I have made another slide, which is little easier. The previous is too short, so this is little elaborate. So Krishna's son has said, misfortune for all Yadus. But what about Dwarkavasis? Dwarkavasis also were not knowing about Krishna's greatness. And what about Vrajvasis who were not knowing greatness? So there is difference. So he spoke, no. The Dwarkavasis knew that he is the best among the Yadus and he is Paramatma. Whereas Vrajvasis don't. So that is 9th verse. Then devotees are fortunate, but non-devotees have hellish existence, as they are absorbed in Krishna's sweetness. So devotees are absorbed in Krishna's sweetness, they don't get affected by the statements of other people. So that is the 10th verse which we discussed. So don't be bewildered by their words. So devotee's opinion is truth. That is about Lord. Devotee's opinion is truth. Hear that opinion. What is that opinion? We are going to start now. Beginning from 11th verse.
Who is video not visible?
Sorry, what?
Video not
screen,
visible.
screen sharing. Sorry. And video. Okay. Now, yeah, both are there. No? Okay. So now, having spoken, having pacified him, having established the Vrajvasi supremacy in one way, now he is going to speak the truth. So in these verses also he spoke about truth of Krishna being like a sun. Sun appears. No? So the Aprakat Leela, Nitya Leela, all these concepts also he communicated. Yes? So he's not only pacifying, but he's telling some truths also. And then 10th verse is the key verse where one should not get affected by those feelings. So now, okay, what is the opinion of devotees? The opinion of those who are touched by Maya should not be disturbing. Okay, so what is the devotee's opinion by which he becomes absorbed in Krishna? That he starts telling now from 11th onwards. Okay, so what is that view? That is, Arjiv Goswami says his most attractive form is described, right, from 11th onwards. Sridhar Swami says that who is that Hari? Because what is called Devasya Mayaya Sprishta, Ye Chanyat Asadashita, Brahmyate Dhirna Tadvakhe, Atmano Uttatmano Harav. So Hari. Those whose minds are in Hari are not affected. So who is that Hari? So that is 11th verse. So like that there are links. So 11th verse is going to speak about how Krishna manifests his form. Right? So that's what verse we will see now. So as verse gets over, we'll see this. So it becomes easy to understand. So that's how. So let us see this quickly so that overview is there. So Krishna manifests his form और shows प्रादर्शन मतलब प्रदर्शन करते हैं मतलब ऐसा नहीं कोई भी देख सकते वो जिसको दिखा दे वो देख word itself is like pradarsh so it's by his will pradarsh it is not avir no it is not jat pradarsh tapas so he withdraws and adaya antaradha yastu swabimbam lokalochana खुद का बिंब whose form he manifests or he shows and he withdraws. This is the meaning. Okay, what kind of form which he steals all the eyes of people? Swabimbam lokalochanam matlab kya? So when Lord anyone sees him, his eye doesn't want to see anything else. क्योंकि वो इतना beautiful है कि बाकी कुछ दिखता है तो उसका comparison नहीं. So that is meaning of it. So what is so verse now next verse or next three verses are describing that form and its influence. Sridhar Swami says that. Three verses describe that form of Hari. Jiva Goswami says confidence to devotee. So three levels of astonishment. The next verse which we discussed at the beginning. Discussed in the sense we sang that verse. The sweetness of Krishna. Yan Martet. So the humanly form of Krishna is the original form of Krishna, which is the most beautiful. That is the 12th one. Okay. Krishna's supreme sweetness, which astonishes different kinds of people and different kinds of avataras also, and their consorts also. So that is what is supreme sweetness of Krishna. Verse 12. So 13 and 14 are also about his form. चल रहा है क्या? So it was going on from so that is 12th verse, his supreme sweetness in essence. What is the 13th verse? Those whose mind are touched by Maya, their vision of Krishna is explained in 13th verse. That is happening in Rajasuya assembly. Where he is telling Vidura, you also saw that, you heard the Devatas commenting, na? They were saying, अरे ये तो ब्रह्मा जी का सबसे अच्छा बनावट है, सब उसका सब कौशलता उसमें लगा दिया. So this is the Devasya Maya Sprishta's opinion that his body is made of Brahma, not made of Brahma. So that is 13th verse. 14th verse is what? Lord's supreme excellence of Leela Vilas. That is told in 14th verse. After the attraction of the gopis for Krishna was much greater than all others in the universe. So he told Maya's Krishna and he told the highest. Who are able to experience the highest sweetness of Krishna are the gopis. So he is directly telling the highest. In between everyone came. Yashoda, Ananda. And he spoke about Dwarkavasis earlier. So they were also experiencing Krishna's sweetness, but not as the Brajavasis. So the attraction of the gopis for Krishna was much greater than all others in the universe, including Brahma and Indra, because Krishna did not respect these devatas as much as he respected gopis. So that respect is told here in this verse, that how he respected and reciprocated. So that is the 14th verse. So his sweetness is told in 3 verses. Then what is there? But from your mouth we hear. So these are, please read these opinions. These are different opinions of different people about Krishna. Please read one by one. Read all of them. A, B, C, D.
That Vaikuntha Narayan came and appeared in Vasudeva's house. That the ancient Lord took a black and white hair. That Krishna expands from Kshirodaksha Vishnu. What he expands from Naranarayana or Vamana. And
we also hear that
Krishna in human costume is situated in Dwarka and other places as the highest form.
So what is the real truth? This is what he is asking. And he is saying, in your mouth only I heard this. So these are things are there at different places. Even other Puranas also. Shita Krishna Kesha, that Vaikuntha, this took hair, became Krishna and Balaram. Or Krishna expand from Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the source of all avatars. So Krishna comes from there. Or Narayana, some say Vamana. And some say Vaikuntha Narayan came and appeared in Vasudeva's house. So all these opinions, what is the truth? So these all opinions are settled in the next verse. That is Swashanta Rupeshu, etc. So there one line is there, which is all supremacy. Paravaresho Mahadamsha Yukto. So why appears is there, that there is friction and all. But who is that who appears? Is Para Avara Isha. So he is transcendental to Para like Narayan and Avara like Brahma Shiva. Para Avara Isha, controller of them. And he is Mahadamsha Yukto. So all the Amshas, Kalas are there in him. All the Avtaras are there. Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam, basically. In other words, line is very much similar to Bhagavan. Ete Cha very much similar. Mahad Amsha Yukto. And he appears like fire. Just as two sticks, fire comes. So he appears. So that also shows that his will he appears. So that is the 15th verse. Okay. Then 16 and 17 is his personal effort to understand Krishna, because he was also having some doubts when Krishna is dealing with different devotees. So Mam Khedayati Ajasya Janma, he ran away out of fear. And that some contradictions are told. So there Uddhava says personal experience that I asked this to many sages, but I never got a clear understanding. Why is Krishna doing like this? So when I asked personally Krishna, he revealed to me his param sthiti. So then, now I am having clarity. That's what I am telling you. I told you truth about Krishna, as I heard from Krishna. So that is what is his 16th and 17th. And the glory of his param sthiti is, in his abodes like this, he is bhakta vasya, completely controlled by his devotee. So that sweetness Dunoti Cheta, that is 70th, his emotion is explained. When I see that he is going to Nanda and Vasudeva and saying that only, na? Dunoti Cheta, 17th verse. Nanda and Yashoda. Tatam Uru Shankitana. Oh father, oh mother, forgive us because being greatly fearful of Kamsa, we could not serve you. So when Uddhava must have observed this because he might be there when they said this. So how can I forget his humility conforming to convention which nourishes the sweetness of the pastime? So that is his emotion. That he is speaking like this, which is not truth. But what is his goal? To increase the sweetness of the pastime, to awaken their Vatsalya speaking. So he is remembering them. How amazing is that? So that is 1670. Okay. So ahead is, someone may say that those who are not the Lord can also act like this. So it is your faith that he is the Lord. आप आपका खुद का अनुभव बता रहे हो, ये आपका सब मन का सब बोल रहे हो, वो भगवान है, आप बोल रहे हैं, हम लोग नहीं मानते. Then he proves in next 3 verses Lord's power in terms of his destruction and Lord's power in terms of his mercy by giving the liberation to Shishupal, who was hating him. He gave liberation. So who can do that in public? And those who were neutral on the battlefield, he gave them bhakti. This is his power. So no one else other than Supreme Lord can do this kind of destruction and upliftment. No one can do that. That is which verses? 80, 90 and 20. Okay. So respectively they are what? Removing the burden simply by raising the eyebrow. Okay. And then next is Rajasva Yajna. Dvishatopi Siddha. Chedi. Chaityasya Krishnam Dvishatopi Siddha. Though Shishupal hated the Lord showed unparalleled mercy to him. Not only that, having described Krishna's mercy, which is liberation to those who had hated him, Uddhava now describes his mercy, giving love to others who were neutral. So there were some neutral people in battlefield, so he gave them bhakti, not bhakti, prem. उनको भेज दिया, भगवत धाम भेजा. So इसका description was explained in Bhagavatam class in Chaupati. I don't know how many of you heard on this verse. Tathaiva chane naraloka veera. So there is class given by this also. So I have a request to all of you. So very wonderful classes these are. He will elaborate all these things very nicely. And more than what Acharyas have written. So he says that Krishna gave sweetness to each and every person who was killed by Arjuna. He gave him his experience of his sweetness. And why he gave? Because of Arjuna's surrender. And they were getting purified by the arrows. And Krishna was sending them Padamapuras. This is his causeless. So he did more than what Arjuna was thinking. Arjuna didn't wanted to fight because they wanted to do their welfare. Right? So Krishna ended up doing that actually. The greatest welfare he did for all of them. Because he surrendered. So very amazing class. So that is 20th verse. And then in the 21st verse, now he goes into his personal emotions. In 2 verses, so 21, 22, 23, 24. Right? These are remaining. The 2 verses, Uddhava laments how he could forget the sweetness of love. His willingness to come under the control of his devotees. So this is 21 and 22. So willingness to control under devotees, 22nd verse, where he goes to Ugrasen and says that, my dear Ugrasen, please instruct me what I should do. But who is this person who is doing that? What is his greatness? That is told in 21st. So this is one of the most condensed verses which is explained in around 75 verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The greatness of Krishna, the pastime of Brahma, Kirita, you see the last Kirita Koti Edita Pada Pitha. So this line is explained in the past time. That all the Brahmas came and they offered obeisances and then there was a lot of sound. Although that, so that is Yog Maya there. Although that Brahma, only our Brahma could see that. All other Brahmas felt I alone came on. So Lord is using his Yog Maya. So that is his power, but how he is going to Ugrasen and so my heart, what happens? How could I forget the sweetness of Lord? So he is absorbed in sweetness of Lord. That's the whole part. So he is not disturbed by these words. And having said that, he concludes which person why I will not take shelter of a person who gave Ghatri Gati to one who came to kill you. This is extreme mercy. No one can show, no other incarnation of person can show it. That's how he kind of ends here. But the next is the emotional outburst of his sweetness. That is, I consider that the demons who had anger towards the Lord of three energies to be devotees. Demons to be devotees, he said. Because, why? Because at the time of death, they saw Krishna. And I am so unfortunate that Krishna has left and I am still living here. So they are better situated than me. But Vishwanath said, this is not Siddhanta. 24th verse is emotional. So those lamentation here is shown not as a final conclusion. Otherwise someone will say this conclusion. So this is how this section is there. So hope it gives some idea. Now we will go to the verses. So this already is so यथा तथापि सर्व आकर्षणम एव तद रूपम इतिहाह प्रदर्शयति. 11th, 12th is told. And what is the opinion of devotees? Tasmat bhaktanam matam eva vastavam bhavet. The truth is the opinion of devotees. What is that? He is telling. Pradarshya tapasam avitruptadrisham dhanam adayam taradhavyam swabhim lokalokshanam.
Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is due to not executing required penance.
So, Pradarsha means what? He showed. That goes to show his will, as I already said. Whom he showed? Atapta tapasa. Means those who have not sufficiently underwent austerities. So when Krishna appeared in this world, he was able to be seen by the gross senses also. So that is the meaning. Atapasa means those who have not done tapasya to actually see that form. But he showed it out of great mercy. Right? Just now we were discussing there also where he's going from Dwarka to Mithila. So all the way throughout, he waited in cities and was merciful to all which were there. Because he showed his sweetness there out of his causeless mercy. Atapta tapasa. So they were not qualified to see, but he showed them. Second line is what? Avitrupta drisham. And he kept them what? Avitruptam. They remained unsatisfied because he shows something and it's like you taken away. He kept them unsatisfied. Avitrupta means what? Not visheshena trupta, not just atrupta, but avitrupta, like avishuddha. Avitrupta drisha. So there is meaning of sneha and all also. Nirna. So what he did? Adaya means आदाय अंतः आधात यह to Swabimbam local ocean. From public vision, he disappeared, taking away. So he showed and he took away. And he showed to people who were not qualified. So why he did what he did, that is the subject matter of purpose. Yeah, so here there is one point of, see, this big statement that Lord is showing that in separation one can relish me more than Sambodha. So it is suggested in this verse that the Lord thought that those who were greedy for him, even without his disappearance, would taste his sweetness more profoundly by separation. So he showed them, Avitra Dushanam. Actually, that's what he did even in the Asila also. So what he does is that only, increase the. It is not that he has to disappear. So he goes somewhere else, so the separation increases. Right? So they can release sweetness more by that separation. So, but one may say, why Lord does like that? It is like, someone will give you something and take it away. No, it is not like that. He has given to those who are not qualified. And he is not even taking away also. He gave his form to men so that he could attract their eyes, not to give them a spiritual benediction and take it away. For attracting people, he came. So, and the second meaning is Vyasuti, which I have told.
Hare Krishna.
Made people blind actually, rather than people.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, screen can be shared if possible.
What is that? Yeah, Prabhuji, you are so humble and expressive. Tell before, at beginning only, no problem. I'm sorry. I think I have
Screen sharing is possible.
Share the entire screen only. That's what I was assuming. This thing. So he made everyone blind. Means what? They got something the highest. Then you see anything else, they don't feel satisfied. So like that. So it created misfortune. No, we showed to those who are unqualified also. So like that, there is meaning. So here is the case. So here the wrong opinions are defeated. Which are wrong opinions? Please read.
In the following two verses,
From here.
and by this statement, the idea that the Lord gave up his body is also defeated. In the following two verses also, the argument that Krishna gave up the material form and assumed a spiritual form is defeated by the words describing his form. The phrases showing his form and disappearing also merely indicate that people cannot see the form.
It has to be shown, right? It is not that someone enters here, then everyone sees. It's not like that. The person has to show. So it indicates that people cannot see that. He has to show it. Okay? Second.
As well, those phrases indicate that the Lord performs these actions by his will. Those that argue that Krishna is dependent on karma are defeated.
So like that, all this, he kept material form and gave up. No, it's not about that at all. Just showing. So all this opening. So here is that which I showed you in the beginning as advertisement. The statements of Uddhava are the highest. So here it is told. And when one understands, thus the Bhagavatam becomes full of flavor and pleasing to hear. So this is what I had shown you in the beginning. It is written here in this purport. So here Prabhupada write Avitruta means like fish out of water. So the person in the material world, he can enjoy anything on the bodily level. He always will remain dissatisfied. Just like fish out of the water, like that. So that's what he explains first. And Krishna showed them all. And then, this is the most powerful statement. Please read this. The Lord himself.
The Lord himself comes to display his transcendental pastimes, typically represented at Vrindavan, Mathura, and Param Siddhi. He appears just to attract the conditioned souls back to Godhead. back home to the eternal world.
Yeah. Right?
But for want of sufficient piety, the onlookers are not attracted by such constants of the Lord.
Yeah. Although he is coming to attract and he is attractive, but it doesn't attract everyone. Right? On want of piety. So there he quotes the verse, Yesham tu antagatam papa. So there is to really appreciate the form. Actually, even Kali also appreciated but attacked. Kali one also, they saw Krishna, right? But they attacked Krishna after that. So because of want of sufficient fight. So then Prabhupada comes to progress how the different Vedic paths, Varnashram, these are all gradual way of upliftment of this world. So there is Varnashram also, these qualities. Only by such transcendental vision are one's material hankerings fully satisfied. So that's how Prabhupada builds up. So let us go ahead. So who could see, who could not see? So those who were unable to see the Lord as he is, remained attached to material hankering. So they saw, but they didn't see them. Like so many people saw it, but they remained attached to the whatever they had. Like I gave the extreme example of Kaliya. He saw beauty of Lord, but he continued to remain attached to whatever. When Lord passed beyond the vision of all, he did so in his original eternal form as stated in verse. So Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body as generally misunderstood by the condition. So this statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non-devotee that Lord passed away like an ordinary condition. So just withdrew, that's all. So all this, so Prabhupada also is repeating. So now what is that bimba? Tadeva bimbam varnayati. So swabimbam lokalochanam. So now that form of Supreme Lord is explained in the next verse. Yanmartaleelav paikam swayoga mayabalam darshayata grihitam vismapanam swasya chasau vagarde param padam bhushanam bhushanangam. Translation.
The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his eternal potency, Yoga Maya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastime. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments.
Yeah. So this was at the beginning we discussed to some extent. Some things which are not discussed, let us discuss now. So here the form is what is told. Martya Leela Upayikam, that which is suitable for human-like pastime. So what he wanted to show in that form of human-like two-handed form? He wanted to show the highest form of all aspects without any restriction or reservation. So what is so Swa-yoga mayam darshayata? For the sake of showing the greatest manifestation of Yoga Maya potency, because his body is made up of that. His body means himself only. There's no difference. Shakti, Mata, Devi. So Yoga Maya, the highest balam is to show that this form is grihita, accepted, manifested, accepted, etc. So what is that? Where he exhibits unlimitedly everything without any restriction. So his mercy or his madhurya, sweetness, aishwarya, opulence, and karunya. So this mat is shown to the highest degree without any restriction. So that is the Swayoga Maya Balam Darshayata. That is the highest power of Yoga Maya in his form, which is two-handed. Martya, which is suitable for two-handed forms. So what was the influence of that that form which is made up of Yoga Maya is the next two lines. So it was astonishing So astonishing for whom all? So few you heard already, right? Lord Narayan only. Who else? Astonishing. So Jiva Goswami tells 4 levels of astonishment. We'll just quickly see. So first level is what? Sakala Swa Vaibhava Vidvat Gana Vismapanayati Bhava. First astonishment is for the people who are Vidvat Gana. They are very learned. Like, Damodarashtakam also we say. What is that? Akhyapayantam. Which is that verse? Itri Dviksvalila Bhirananda Kundai Swagosham Nimajjantam Akhyapayantam Tadiyeshu Tadneshu Bhaktarjitadvam Puna Prematastam Shatabhati Vandam. So Tadiyeshi Tadneshu Akhyapayantam. To advertise to these people who are too much attached to knowledge, that you see, I am advertising, I am controlled by my devotees. So this is the first. So they get astonished. Sakala Swa Vaibhava Vidvatgan. Second is what? Na kevalam etatva tasyaiva रूपांतरे तादृष्ट अनुभवात अननुभवात. So his own form means Narayan, other his expansion. That is second level of astonishment. And the third is Tatrapi Pratikshanam api apurva prakasha swasyapi visvam. Because it manifests so much of newer and newer apurva prakash. So he himself is also astonished. So these 3 levels of astonishment he tells. That Vismapanam Swastya Saubhagarvi. So that's why Parampadam Bhushana Bhushana. So he is the highest. Parampadam is the ultimate stand of Supreme. Supreme Saundarya Prakash Sata. Like that Sridhar Swami says. So that is the meaning. So that's what is explained here. So now what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this I think this I didn't say. So last verse said that you made the form, he made the form disappear. So where did he go to Vaikuntha? That is the question. You see this? When he made his form disappear, did he go to Vaikuntha? How could he take that form suitable for human pastime to Vaikuntha? So Vaikuntha, there is no two-handed thing. So in answer to this question, this verse is 4. This means that even now, as previously he is residing in Dwarka only. He has not gone to Vaikuntha. He is eternally situated in Dwarka. He has not gone to Vaikuntha. But it is superior to Vaikuntha. So that's what is told here. Human pastimes are superior to Vaikuntha. This is the point which is made here. Right? And here is what I said. Please read this portion. He does not establish.
He does not establish his form by hiding sweetness or power, but by depositing all his powers in his human form.
Yeah. So means all other forms he is hiding something, not showing something. Okay. But in this form he is not doing that. He is fully depositing all his powers in his human, this form. So this already I did. Highest Madhurya, highest Aishwarya and highest Karma. Such capacity is not displayed even in Vaikuntha. So this is Yoga Maya Balam Darshay. So these are important points. Others can be seen. So Prabhupada also says that how the Lord Krishna's pastimes are superior to Vaikuntha pastimes. And NOI also says that. Vaikuntha Puri se better is the Dwarka. 11, the last few verses. So he seemed to be a human being because he appeared in a manner just suitable for his pastimes in the mortal world. He did not appear in human society as his Vaikuntha feature with 4 hands because that would have not been suitable for his pastime. He cannot be intimate with people. Right? The way, like I told in the morning, the Shutadev and Bahula. So he showed Shutadev that I am coming with him only. And Vaibhava went alone. So why he is doing that? This is the most personal thing. Personally reciprocating with you. And separately is reciprocating with other also. This is human life. He can show that I am going both, right? Then that humanness won't remain. They will not think, Arey, Bholasho is thinking that, Krishna has come with me, he's so merciful. And Shuddhadev is going alone. Bholasho is thinking Krishna is coming with me only. So he gave that personal experience by that. And same is the case we see everywhere. When gopis are dancing or gopas are eating, they feel that Krishna is with me only. So this kind of intimacy is shown in human form because they can relate. If 400 is there, it cannot be that intimate. Okay? So that is what is the case. Yes, please.
Like that, at least in the Lord past time, we hear that Lord even do my mercy also.
So many times.
Otherwise, you cannot enjoy it in that
I
way.
think-
Actually. So is it the same for like in Srila or Uttaradev?
Yeah.
They are also not
Actually, here Lord is not covered much. For him, it is covered.
They are covered. These are covered.
And Lord expanded, the sages expanded. Like that.
But Lord knows the benevolence with both things.
Of course, he Yogmaya is acting to please him only. But when he will be pleased, when his devotee is pleased. So he is doing the highest thing to please him. He is showing him that I am coming to your home. I came from so far with all these sages just to meet you. This is the intimacy he is giving him the experience of it. And he is giving the same experience to him. He knows fully what he is doing. Same thing in 108, 16,000 palaces. He is differently at different places. But he is the same Krishna. So it is not expansion. The word expansion is wrong. Prakash. They all are one only. For that pastime, Prakash. Pastime or finish. So this is Yogamaya happening. And that is happening there. In Mithila. So Vrindavan is more than that. More intimacy. So he also knows. Like when they are entering into Agasthya's mode. So actually, Krishna was seeing, they should not enter. So actually, Krishna's desires appears to be thwarted here. Krishna has Sapta Sankalpa Shakti. If he doesn't want them to go, then how they can go? But Gopas are thinking, what they are thinking? Krishna will save us. वो बोला अरे नहीं अच्छा खेलने का दूसरा बोला नहीं डीमन है अरे नहीं डीमन रहेगा तो अभी तो बका को मारा उसको मार देगा प्रॉब्लम चलो तो डिवोटी का इच्छा है कृष्णा शुड प्रोटेक्ट मी so Leela Shakti seeing Krishna doesn't want to enter and devotee wants so she knows Krishna will be pleased if I fulfill the desire of devotee. So that's why she allowed. So this is all done by Yogma. Leela Shakti, these are all words used. So this is the dynamics of Yogman, by which the experience of devotee is enhanced by the Lord in a very personal way. In a very, very personal. So he knows what is happening. He is conscious of it. Yeah, so Prabhupada writes all these points but in different language. If you see all three Mac, right? I said. So he's comparing with Vaikuntha. It should be not misunderstood that his transcendental body, which is just suitable for pastimes in material world, is in any way inferior to his different expansion in Vaikuntha. His body manifested in material world is transcendental par excellence in the sense that his pastimes in the mortal world excel his mercy displayed in Vaikuntha. So that's how he is explaining the same statement. His pastimes in the mortal world, he is merciful even to the fallen souls who are Nityabadha. So that is the beauty of pastimes here. That any Tom, Dick, Harry also has an opportunity to get mercy. So like that, he is exhibiting all opulences in full. They are rare even in Vaikuntha. And culmination in Rasli. So, next verse is, my dear Vidura, you have directly witnessed this great auspiciousness of Krishna. So, this is the verse. Now, please read translation.
All the demigods from the upper, lower, and middle universal planetary systems assembled at the altar of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira. After seeing the beautiful bodily picture of Lord Krishna, they all contemplated that he was the ultimate dexterous creation of Brahma, the creator of human beings.
Yeah. So, they are contemplated there. So, that's why they are Maya Krishna. They don't know the truth. So, here there is derision of the comparison. So, beauty is compared with something material. So, that is not fully capturing the beauty of life. That's the purport. That there is now disgust with the creation of blossoming blue lotus, lamp black ointment, and blue sapphire and rain cloud. Although Krishna has similar aspects, but then their beauty is disgusting. Like that. So Prabhupada elaborates this point. There was nothing comparable to the bodily features of Krishna when he was present in this world. So all these are defeated by beauty of bodily features of Krishna. So all this. So demigods thought that Brahmaji created, but that is what is wrong understanding. So of course there are few demigods who know the truth. There are few demigods who don't. So those who are first by mind. And now, Atha Prema Vilasayoho Parama Utkarsha. That is the next one. Read the translation.
The dancers of Raja, after pastimes of laughter, humor, exchange of glances, were anguished, and Krishna left them. They used to follow him with their eyes, and thus they sat down with stunned intelligence and could not finish their household duties.
So they are the experience of Krishna's beauty in the most closest way. So how much they were affected. So when Krishna left for grazing cows, they were just thinking about it. Right? The way there was exchange, and they will follow with their eyes. They will forget whatever they are doing. They will be stunned. So that is the influence on them, which is the highest. So this love which astonished the whole universe, including Krishna. And the bewilderment created in the woman of Raja arose from the profusion of their love. Prabhupada also elaborates that his love for them was so intense. There is no comparison. And then that's why he said, I apologize, I can't reciprocate. And that's why he came as Mahaprabhu. That's what is Naparayeham Niravadya Samuja. That's what Prabhupada quotes here. Unable to repay. So this is the highest respect which is offered to the Gopi, by Krishna, by giving the experience of his highest beauty. Yeah, please read this. So Prabhupada concludes.
It is said that in the revealed scripture that Lord Krishna personally never goes beyond the boundary of Vrindavan. He remains there eternally because of the transcendental love of the inhabitants. Thus, even though he is not visible at present, he is not away from Vrindavan for a moment.
Yeah, so that is the key. So why he goes somewhere else to increase the intensity on it? He is always there. But there is Sambhoga, Sambhoga, that enhances the whole thing.
Prabhuji, as it is mentioned here that Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan because of the law of the inhabitants. But as we see that Krishna may be the Supreme Personality of God, as it is mentioned, he may be present, but the inhabitants are not there. So from whom he is getting that love? Here it is mentioned that Krishna is getting transcendental love from the inhabitants. But those inhabitants are not there now.
Now.
Yes.
Okay.
So why Krishna is present there?
So that's why these three places, Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka, are eternally there. And all the aprakat leelas are going on right now also. That's why it was said that he didn't go to Vaikuntha. Just unmanifested himself. So this is the Param Sthiti which was revealed to Uddhava. So these three places, Vrindavan, Mathura and Dwarka, are eternal abodes of Krishna. Krishna Loka there. Only Krishna is there in this thing. So aprakat leelas are going on constantly. Right now also they are going. And those devotees who are qualified, they see those leelas right now. So that is what is Param Sthiti. The supreme position of Krishna's pastimes in these three places. It is not that from here he withdrew his body and went to Vaibhava. These three places are manifested here. So here there is aprakat leela is going on. So this I showed. Now, having said that, now, if doubt remains, all the doubts we read. So what is the truth? Some says this, some says this, some says this. What is the truth about this form which you just now said? What is the real truth? Please tell. So this is the verse. Swathyantarupaishva Pitaraswarupaihi Abhyarthamaneshu Anukampitatma Paravareshu Mahagamshu Yukto Yajo Vijato Bhagavan Yathatmihi.
The personality of God had the all-compassionate control over both the spiritual and material creation is unborn. But when there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material world of nature, it takes birth just like fire, accompanied with by the mother.
So here, as I said, the important line is what? Paravaresho Mahagamshu. The fire analogy is also told elaborately. So he is just like fire, which being eternally present as one of the five basic elements, appears when jewels or stones are rubbed. This means that he is eternally present in his abodes such as Mathura. Fire is already there, no? But as soon as you rub, he manifests. So the analogy also given by him is very instructive. When his devotees in Mathura was like Vasudeva and Ugrasena are afflicted by his Kripa Shakti, which is like the friction that produces fire, Lord becomes visible. Like that. So again he gives an analogy. So these analogies are powerful. Now you can read this. This is conclusion given. So sun example already we saw. Yeah, it is clearly shown.
It clearly shows how the Lord is present in his abode and makes his appearance. He is not Narayana coming from Vaikuntha, or Shri coming from the Bill portion, or Nar Narayana or Bhavan coming from their abodes to make an appearance in this world. Though all these forms have their eternal abodes, when Krishna appears, he comes with all these amshas, Mahad Amshayutta. Since they merge with Krishna, the Lord of them are Paravaresha. Thus all doubts are resolved. This is in accordance with the statements of the sages.
Yeah. So all other incarnations, they are some having planets, right? So Krishna is not like. Rather, they are all there in him. Right? He comes with all these amshas, they merge because he is Lord of all. So that is what is the conclusion. So there is this fight between this that time hung. So interestingly, Prabhupada calls Itara Swarupa means he calls Karmi, Jnani and Yogis. They hanker to possess some materials and spiritual assets. But pure devotee doesn't want anything. So they are all having some separate agenda. But a pure devotee, they want only to serve the Lord anywhere in the material or spiritual world. And Lord is always specifically compassionate towards such devotees. So Anukampitatma on such people, the devotees. Karmis, Jnanis, Yogis have their particular mentalities in the modes of nature. And therefore they are called Itara, others. So like that Prabhupada explains, he explains fire analogy also. And this also. When Lord Krishna appears in mission, all his plenary portions accompany him. Some said, so this already we discussed. So Prabhupada has quoted all this from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Because he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam, and Narayana and the Purushas and all other incarnations accompany him to function as different parts of his body. So this is what Prabhupada added. So this verse is not there, but he is saying Krishna is the only. So all other incarnations also relish their servitude to Krishna. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, the highest philosophy. But all others are gods actually, but they relish servitude to Krishna over their godhood. They accept worship, but their main relish comes by serving Krishna. So when Krishna appears, they come within him and do their service. So this, yeah. So now he is telling about himself, 16 and 17 verse, right? So these contradiction things. So I told about this. Yeah, please read the translation.
When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, all the reasons for how he went away from his father's protection to Braj and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear. All these dwindling incidents give me distress.
It said, give me distress. So Prabhupada also explains. So these all questions were there with Uddhava. I have revealed the truth to you as I have understood it. However, I could not understand this difficult subject before, even though I asked learned people. Thus, previously I was full of it, now not. So here this, why Krishna is doing all this, Ajasya Janma and all. But however, when I asked the Lord in private, he enlightened me, now my lamentation is gone. The Lord revealed to him, Param Sthiti. So Prabhupada also writes all these things. Even you can see the Lord is supremely perfect. Whatever he enacts, his transcendental pastime as a son, arrival, etc., is so perfectly that even pure devotees like Uddhava are bewildered. So Uddhava was also bewildered by seeing his exchanges with Devaki and Sudhava. So all these events are perfect arrangements to give perfection to his supreme glories. It is for the enjoyment's sake. That's all. That's the Praja Jana Ranjana, right? That's the essential philosophy with Krishna wants. Everything else is secondary. So that is what is revealed to Uddhava, because Uddhava was not able to understand. And now a pure devotee knows very well how it is possible for Lord to adjust the opposite things. So many opposites are there in Krishna's past. But he laments for the non-devotees. So when Uddhava is saying I am lamenting, means he is not lamenting, he is lamenting for people who don't understand those things. Who do not knowing the supreme glories of Lord, think him as imaginary, simply because there are so many contradictory statements in scripture. So they say, "Arey, ye chodo magajmari hai, aisa hi hai." So they lament for this. That's why he was lamenting for whom? Even the Yadus also he was saying. They were unfortunate. So because what to speak of the Maya, Krishna, everyone, because they know the truth. Actually, there is nothing contradictory. Everything is possible when we understand the Lord as the Lord and not as one of us with all our imperfection. So that is what is. Now his personal experience. Yeah, with the translation. So we'll just quickly go through this and find this one.
Lord Krishna begged pardon from his parents for their Krishna and Balaram's inability to serve their feet due to being away from home because of great fear of thumbs. He said, "Oh, Mother, oh, Father, please excuse us for this inability. All this behavior of the Lord gives me favorite heart."
Yeah, so actually such great personality, any great personality acts like a common being is very hard touching. Right? So that's what he's saying. Such personality is just acting like humility. It breaks my heart. Right? If the statement is true, when Krishna is saying, then contradiction to his position as the Lord. And if it is false, then how can Lord speak the untrue words? Thus, previously I was in grief, but now I am clear. How I can forget his humility, conforming to convention. So he is fully absorbed in Vatsalya. That's why he is saying this. which is nourished his sweetness. That's the is good to please his devotees and exchange the highest love. Even though he is the highest form of Lord, his conduct pierces my heart like arrow. So this is the lamentation of Uddhava. Dunoti Cheta. So Prabhupada also says the same thing. He elaborates. These are all glorified pastimes of Lord and there is no contradictions. He was never afraid of Kamsa. Uddhava was simply struck with wonder by such glorious behavior of the Lord. And he was very sorry that he was unable to go with him. So his lamentation is what? देखो मैं अकेला रह गया. He's feeling separation from God. So see, in the class it was told what was entrusted to Uddhava was the highest thing. The class was saying that you are interested to some, Lord entrusts you something. That's why he remained. Because these truths were not clear to anyone. So Uddhava became the recipient of that truth and he has to reveal that truth to which Narnana and Rishis and other sages there. Because they knew this massacre cannot happen. So that is what if this section gets over. Maybe okay. So last section, this is last two sections of it. So we continue tomorrow. And tomorrow we should complete the chapter because we have 2 more days. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Hare Krishna. So we have to give faster. We will do that. It is already 7:05 now. So in 5 minutes, can we go through these verses? Is it okay? At least this section gets over. And then rest of the chapter, nothing. Actually, next half an hour, the next chapter also will happen. Because it just, there is not much discussion. Fourth chapter has a lot of discussion. So, is it okay? 5 minutes, can we go through till 24? So, I have given you already the bottom line, right? So, now just connect it. That's all. Now, 18 to 20, as I told, what is there? That it's you are behaving, you are thinking by your Shraddha that he is God. He is not God. It is your own personal faith. Now he is telling no. He is God. See his powers and see his power of mercy, power of destruction, power of mercy. That is 18 and 19. Yeah, please read 18 translation.
Who, after smelling the dust of his brother's feet, even once, could ever forget it, simply by expanding the leaves of his eyebrows, Krishna has given the death proof to these who are burdening the earth.
So that is his power. Right? So these verses are not just proving Siddhanta that he is God, but there are great emotions of separation of Uddhava also. Right? So if you see, all have this question. Who after smelling the dust of his feet even once could ever forget it? So like that, such emotions are there and there is the Siddhanta also. So fine, he cannot be accepted as human being, although he played the role. Yeah. Now, yeah, read ahead. You have
personally seen how the king of Vedi Sisupar achieved success in yoga practice. Although he hated Lord Krishna, even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him?
So imagine what liberation was given, the yogis do so much Magadmara. Yam yoginaha samspruhayanti samyak yogena. But he had just gave him by killing, who was completely enmical to him, right from birth. Who can tolerate separation? So that's how he is saying. Very interesting statement. It is not possible to be a bona fide rival of law. Because Lord loves everyone. There is no rival for Lord. Someone can think like that. The Lord was merciful even to his enemy, and the success of King Chedi was observed by everyone. It's a public, he is not telling some commoner event. Rajsuya Yagya is seen by all kinds of people. There he is quoting Pramana. Who was present in that assembly? Vidura was also present, therefore Uddhava referred the incident in his memory. Now, for neutral people, he gave this. Please be translated.
Certainly, others who have fighted on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjun arrows. And while seeing the lotus-like face of Krishna so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the reward of Lord.
So, this is to the mercy to the neutral people. Yes, so that is what is told here. Mercy, giving, mercy means what? Not liberation, the love they give. To send back to God, it means love is required. So he gave that award. So he is saying they were fortunate, but I am unfortunate because drinking the form of the Lord, they attend the Lord and I am here. So like that he is expressing. So this is a very important purport where Prabhupada writes many, many things. So some things we can see. Pleasing to eyes of seer are very significant. So what is that word? The Naitrai Pibanto Nayanabhiram, right? Nayanabhiram. So when one can actually appreciate it. So he is saying that. When the warriors from other side of battlefield saw Krishna, they appreciated his beauty. Their dormant instinct of love of goddess was awakened. Shishupal also saw Krishna and he was killed, but he went to Brahmajyoti. Others who were marginal position, being neither friends or enemies, slightly in love of Godhead by appreciating the beauty, were at once promoted to spiritual plane. So he is telling different grades of people who were liberated in different ways. But Golok Vrindavan is completely different. So please read this portion. This is very important. This portion.
Love of Godhead is determined mere to living entity. And the entire process of devotional service into the Lord is meant for awakening experiment, eternal love of Godhead. But there are degree of such transcendental awakening. Those who love God is awakened to the fullest extent go back to Golok Vrindavan planet in the spiritual sky. Whereas person who have just awakened to love of God by accident or association are transferred to the Vaikuntha planets. Essentially, there is no material difference between Golok and Vrindavan. But in the Vaikunthas, the Lord is served in the unlimited opulence, whereas Golok, the Lord is served in natural perfection. This love of God is awakened by the association of pure devotee of Lord. Here, the word was significant.
So you see, fullest extent. It's not that Lord is irrational while he is merciful. Rationality and mercifulness go together in absolute truth. He is not illogical. So he is reciprocating according to the extent of development. That much intimacy is avoidable. And this is happening by Arjuna's mercy. So that's the purpose. So anyway, fine. Here we wait. Tomorrow we'll do this. Thank you all very much. Tomorrow we will complete these 4 verses plus this chapter and we can begin next chapter also. Krishna will let us. Because next chapter will happen in half an hour, 45 minutes. Third chapter is just remembrance of past time. 4th chapter is important. Okay, Prabhu. So thank you and my apologies. I request you please study this nicely. Very wonderful chapters. I could not prepare properly. I could not present properly. So Hare Krishna. Thank you. If anyone has any clarification, they may express, or others can happily proceed also. No problem. So 3 to like that. That's good idea. Some small break. 6. Order, yeah. Before 3 is difficult because Bhakti class is there. 3 to 7. Do the needful job. So, while going through, I end the meeting.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. You can end.
Very good. Thank you.
Next.